Hello and welcome to the BUKC 2018 Qualifiers. We're here at the Grizzly Whilton Mill. Apparently the audio is not great, the video is not great. Apologies for that, but if you can hear me and or see me, welcome to Whilton Mill. We're going to cut to Andrew and Howard while we sort through our technical difficulties. Up to you guys in the commentary box, if you can hear me.
Well, hello everybody and welcome to Whilton Mill for the first day of racing for the British Universities Karting Championship 2018 season, and the first day of two here at Whilton Mill, where we're going to do the all-important qualifiers, a series of qualifying races which decide the fate of the teams very early on in the year, because we are going to decide who is going to take part in the upper tier of the BUKC, known as the Mains Championship, and who will go and take part in the lower tier, known as the Rookies Championship. Both highly respectable championships, fantastic things to take part in, whichever one you are in, but there are teams here today who on pace would expect to make it into the mains, and if they have a bad day at the office, it could dramatically change the season for them compared to what they were intending to do this year. My name's Howard Mitchell, and it's my pleasure to be part of the team bringing you the coverage today, doing the commentary alongside my good friend and colleague Andrew Mather, who's alongside me in the commentary box. Andrew, how you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm not too bad.
It's not too bad. He's furiously doing some maths at the moment, because we're going to try and keep you up to date with who's on the bubble, basically, for making it through to the mains today. So he is going to be entering numbers into what we have dubbed his spreadsheet of doom.
And if you give me 3, 2, 1, I now have got a projected who's basically won qualifying this morning. So just to be a bit of background, this is me in a spreadsheet. This is completely unofficial, and you can probably just ignore it.
And we should, just before you say it, sorry Andrew, clarify, qualifying for the qualifiers.
Yes.
Okay, so this
Yes.
is deciding the grids for the qualifier races.
So for each of the first 5 races that you're going to see in the next couple of hours, we've had a qualifying session respective for each of these. So the drivers that you're seeing out now, they're going to do race 1, did qualifying 1. Drivers who will be in race 2 to qualifying 2, etc, etc. Basically each team's got 4 grid positions, and we've used those to kind of give us a picture of where we think they will finish in respective positions in races across the day, and then how they've done as a whole for the championship. I'm not going to tell you about the top kind of 20, because they're all looking pretty safe to get in. It's the ones kind of from 20th to 30th. So 21st, Manchester Met, with a projected total of 278. 22nd Bath B, also on 276. Northumbria B, also on 276. Brighton 24th on 274. Swansea B on 272. Brunel B on 270. And then on the bubble is Southampton on 268. The teams that are then outside at the moment looking in and need to improve on their qualifying from this morning: Swansea A in 28th, Warwick C and Warwick D 29th and 30th, Aston B 31st, York, Aston C, Imperial, Warwick E, Oxford B, Bristol B, Oxford C, Brunel D, Sheffield B and Imperial C. They've all got work to do.
Absolutely important stuff to keep track of throughout the day, that. Meanwhile, however, we're ready to go to race 1. Let's be giving you your grid. On pole position is going to be Jamie Desir in the Brooks A kart. The challenge for the title that was snatched away from them last year by a broken chain starts here. Second on the grid will be Denholm Smith in the Northumbria A kart. Then it will be the Imperial A kart of Stephen Moffat. Then Taylor Adams in the UWTSD Swansea kart will be 4th. 5th will be Southampton A with Titus Buchelis at the wheel. Jonathan Collins in the Cambridge kart will be 6th. 7th will be Brunel B with Rob Holland. 8th will be Max Teichert in the Bath A kart. The Brooks B kart of Joe Bleakley will be... Are we good for... no, we're going around again. That's fine. Joe Bleakley will start 10th in the Oxford Brooks B kart. Bristol A start 11th with Valery Novikov at the wheel. Jack O'Toole starts 12th in the Aston A kart. Then it'll be Brunel C in 13th with Kaz Iqbal at the wheel. Ben Street starts 14th for Warwick A. I'm going to catch up with the graphics eventually. Honest, Bath B will be Joe Davison in 15th. 16th will be their first ever race in the BUKC, Manchester Metropolitan A, with Sam Richardson at the wheel. 17th will be Youssef bin Suhail in the York kart. Iskander Gafarov will start 18th in the Warwick E kart. Brooks D with Lewis Bracewell at the wheel starts 19th. And Toby Hogg starts 20th in the Warwick C kart. Northumbria B will have Ian Hodgkiss at the wheel in 21st. Southampton B will have Kieran Park in 22nd. And then it's Warwick D, Brighton, Oxford A, UEA, Sheffield B, Oxford B, Aston B, Imperial C, Imperial B, Brunel D and Swansea C rounding out the 33 kart grid. I had to rush that bit because I think, Andrew, we're good for a start.
We're just about good for a start. We've got a couple of trailers at the back.
Okay.
Just watching where the pusher cart is. Welcome back to our listeners on Mixler as well. Apologies, we had a little bit of a hiccup there on Mixler, but we do believe you are now back with us. You haven't missed anything, don't worry. We're just going around it again for another one. Apologies, Howard, I'm completely...
no, that's fine. That's fine. I'll tell you what.
I'll
do the back end of the grid. I'll start row 11th. Ian Hodgkiss will start 21st in the Northumbria B kart. 22nd will be Southampton B with Kieran Parkin at the wheel. Chris Miles will start 23rd for Warwick D. Nathan Little will start 24th for Brighton. Alex Tucker will start 25th for Oxford A. University of West of England A is represented by Alex Harley, starting 26th. 27th we'll have Matt Brown in the Sheffield B kart. Mark Quinlan will start 28th for Oxford B. Aston B will have Samuel Earnshaw representing them from 29th on the grid. 30th will be the Imperial C kart with George Wang at the wheel. Alexander Roberts will start 31st for Imperial B. Brunel D will start 32nd with Daniel Ayetunmobi at the wheel. And Southampton C will start 33rd with Simon Withers at the wheel as they head into the boot. I think we might be good for a start this time.
Nervous moments of a new season. Absolutely fantastic to see a great crowd here at Whilton Mill today for what is going to be 10 of the most pulsating races that we see this year. The grid is coming round. The pusher cart has pulled away. Look for the lights. They're red. They're green. We're racing in the BUKC. The lead goes on to Brooks. They spin. They spin. Number 2. Oxford Brooks A is off, and there's 4 or 5 other carts off as well.
He's kept it going though, Andrew. He went across the grass. He's kept it going.
What a brilliant piece of driving from Jamie Desira. But the new season starts in the same way that the last season ended. Complete disaster for Brooks A. My goodness, are we going to see a restart? No, I don't think we are, because only 2 drivers have stopped on that one. But that's a very dramatic start to the season. Completely not the fault of the driver in the number 2. Blimey, what a first half of the lap. There's another driver off on the exit of Christmas, but it's the number 11 as second goes off. Second place goes off there. I didn't quite catch who it was, but number 11, Oxford Brooks B, have come from about 10th on the grid to lead. They're going to lead at the end of lap 1. That's remarkable, Howard.
Yeah, absolutely. Manic start here. I don't think we've had a chance to talk about the conditions, but as you can see if you're watching on the live stream, we've got damp conditions here, very tricky. These are slick tired carts. They are direct drive carts, so if you spin it round, you're very likely to stall it. Jamie Desira did a full 360 on the grass.
I mean, he did very well to keep it going.
I was going to say that's extremely impressive to do.
It was the 61 that span out of second place.
So Brooks B, as you say, Andrew, leading this one with Joe Bleakley at the wheel. Aston A up to second place, Cambridge third, Warwick B fourth, and Brooks A somehow is still fifth. I mean, technically he cut the track, but he also lost a huge chunk of time, so I assume that's going to be
and
no
he was
harm, no
forced
foul.
into it. He was tapped. I'm not sure if we can get a replay.
No, was he? Because I thought second
tapped.
and third were jostling and were slightly behind, and the things happened independently. I'm not sure.
Jamie was definitely tapped.
Okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. We should say, I was a bit of housekeeping. Hashtag BUKC 2018 if you want to tweet about the goings on, and if you want to interact with us in the box, we're at _MM.
So I'm just going to look at who lost out. There was it wasn't just Oxford Brooks A who lost out on that first lap. Northumbria, they qualified second. They're now down in 16th place. Brunel C lost out. Imperial A lost out as well. So first, second and third all went on that first lap. York the number 82, they went. University of Wales Trinity. The top 4 went, Howard.
Yeah.
The ones at first, second, third and fourth, all gone out of the race win contention on lap 1.
Well, some of these drivers, Andrew, they may have gone up to all of the test days, but it's still the case that some of them may be very race rusty, having not raced in the last few months.
But I'm just going to correct myself in terms of out of the race running. Jamie Desira has already got back up to 4th place now. Aston A lead, but they've just got a contact warning. Cambridge 2nd, Brooks B 3rd, and Brooks A 4th.
More carts off, Andrew. Cart off at turn 2 at the moment, and a cart off up at Christmas Corner as well. So still plenty of runners trying to recover their carts.
Desira coming through. That's Desira coming through for 3rd, and he's going to get past Cambridge as well for 3rd place now.
That's Jonathan Collins in that cart for Cambridge.
So, change of lead. Brooks B are now in the lead. Brooks A is 2nd. You've got to imagine that considering how things went last year, they will take nothing to chance, and the Brooks A cart will jump out the way. Cambridge 3rd, Aston A 4th, Warwick B 5th, Southampton A 6th.
Yeah,
and running wide,
there's the change.
there goes Brooks B,
There's
running very wide.
I'm not sure if that was intentional or
No,
just coincidence.
it was.
I mean, I suppose that is a sort of wet line he was taking. You can see here where you... Oh, no. Blimey, sorry. Yeah,
Aston
yellow. So somebody off there as well.
I think it was Aston.
Yeah, so still carts falling off, even though they're taking it very... Well, it won't feel leisurely, but, you know, this is very obviously not their standard dry running pace. You'll note we're using the Zulu layout of Whilton Mill. For those familiar with the circuit, we'll be using the other layout later on in the season as they round the boot, a section common to both layouts.
Sorry, Howard, 16 and 15 are Southampton and Warwick's A teams battling over, I think that's 6th place.
Yes, it is.
In the 16 is Bench Street at the moment, which is the change. That's another transfer.
Yes, it is.
And in the 15 cart, we've got Titus Pacellis, one of the probably more experienced drivers that we've got on the grid this season.
Absolutely. Timing confirms the change of lead.
Driver off in the boot, can't quite make out who it is, so we'll watch out for time who has a slow lap. Sorry, it wasn't Aston who spun, they're still there, the number 69. So it might have been actually a driver who was already a lap down.
Southampton A getting a bit frustrated behind the Cambridge cart there, I think. As are they putting a lap on somebody maybe?
Yeah, I think they are.
I think. So this is the sort of 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th sort of group here. You can see, indeed, here it is, the 16 of Warwick A trying to put a move on Aston A, and they're going to make it stick. That means they've flown up the order this lap, Andrew. They started the lap 6th. I think they're going to end it 3rd, but Aston's coming back at them here. Aston having a good go back at them. Jack O'Toole it is in that cart. So I think he's going to hold on to 3rd place as they come around to finish this lap. Look how clumsy it looks going around the last corner, though, in these conditions. This is really not the kind of feel you want to have. Slick tyres means you get chronic understeer on corner turning and then a little bit of oversteer. And it's such a challenge as well, Andrew, because as we've got... who's that who's gone off in turn 1 as well? That looks like it might have been someone from quite high up the order. Can't see their number plate from here, but we're looking out for that. And look at them all jostling for the... Oh, as the 53 as that goes round. I believe that was one of our back markers, but the 53 is Brunel D. Has indeed been involved in some of the dramas. Driver, there you can see, if you're unfamiliar with what a recovery of the cart looks like, that's what it looks like. Someone is who is off in the first sector. Don't know that still. But... it's still Brooks A who lead this one, and indeed their pace is improving. Just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:04.374, demonstrating, I think, Andrew, that the conditions are improving, because that's faster than some of the times we saw in qualifying this morning. So here we go. That's the 16 of Warwick A, followed by Aston A. So that means, Andrew, that Warwick A have got past Aston on this lap. In fact, they've got... What's happened to Brooks A? Andrew, what's happened to Brooks A? Was that... Where is Brooks? Desira's off. Desira's off in the Zulus. Zulu won. Desira came to a stop. I don't think we saw it on the stream, but Desira has come to a halt, and that's it. If turn 1 didn't kill it for them, that's this race run for Brooks A. They'll finish, but it'll be well down the order, already down to 20th. Disaster start to the day for our highest ranked team going into today, because our defending champions Loughborough will be competing not today but tomorrow. So disaster for the Brooks A squad. Brooks B has taken over the lead, but as far as they're concerned, it's the wrong Brooks kart. Gesturing here. Gesturing
what is going on here?
That's the Aston 69 and the 15,
9.
and Cambridge is going to take them both, and so's the 25 of Bath. What was that between the Aston and the Southampton kart? They just lost a whole hunk of time gesturing at each other down the back straight, like they were able to have a little bit of a scuffle there. The 35 of Northumbria A is now right on their tail. It's all change amongst the top 10 here. Indeed, Cambridge now up to 3rd, Bath A 4th, Aston A 5th, 6th Southampton A, and Northumbria A in 7th. What was going on?
Number 9. Well, this is
Cambridge.
This is one of the most bizarre races to start the season.
Yeah. That's black flag for advantage by contact for the Cambridge kart.
I don't know if the guys down in the truck can get us a replay of that. We didn't quite catch that on our screen.
But yeah.
It was just like they're both having a bit of a chat, and the number 9 goes around the outside of it. It's like, come on, boys, get on with it.
Start off at Christmas corner. So, cars that have been involved in some form of incident that we know of. Brooks A, your biggest fallers. Brighton has had an incident. Imperial B, Swansea C, Oxford B, Imperial C, and Brunel D.
Right, Bath A lead this race. And there's more pushing. Come on, that's not sensible. That is not sensible.
What's going on? These two are going to take each other off.
At all. I'm sorry, but you've just pushed Bath completely out the way.
It's Mac Teicher.
Rusty. A lot of drivers out there, a bit rusty, I think, in this one.
I'm surprised by this one.
Penalty for the number 2 now.
Okay, so that's bad to worse to even worse for Brooks A, because they went off in turn 1. For some reason came to a halt in the Zulus and now have a penalty. But what was going on between Titus Buchalis and Max Teichert? Apologies if I'm getting that name wrong. In the Bath A kart, that's not what we wanted to see. And a lot of drivers just need to calm down. It's not one.
I need to calm down.
I think we need to calm down. Well, yeah, but no, it's true. You know, just Cambridge caught them napping there.
Oh, driver off at Christmas.
Yeah, I think that might be the 53 again. Brunel D.
Well pointed out on the mixed
problem for Northumbria A. Why are they going slowly down the back straight? Oh no, they've picked up the pace again now, but they lost a whole heap of time.
Taylor Adams is flying in the University of Wales Trinity St David's Swansea car. This is one of the ones that got taken out on lap 1. He is indeed. He is up to 21st position in the number 13 and picking them off quite well.
Curb abuse warning for Aston A.
Cambridge are in.
Cambridge are in the pit for their black flag. Contact warning for Southampton A. It is messy. It is scruffy amongst the top 10 at the moment. It's I can't say it's not entertaining, but it's certainly quite mad down there. And on the first marshal post is getting a well-earned rest from having to wave the yellow.
For the 68, I think that was. Warwick E, round in the boots, just off camera, we've just seen out the window. Oh, Cambridge, trouble for Cambridge getting out the pits.
Oh, they're going to do a stop.
Rookie error. The number 9 stuck getting out of the pits, did not do the push start well. Well, the penalty's bad enough. This is even worse, and this is the thing in these conditions. Spins are even more costly because, well, it's more likely that the pusher carts are dealing with somebody else, and they were at that time. So, and now there's confusion between the back markers over the yellow flag. There's a lot of race rusty drivers out here.
This race has been crazy. So let's just set the scene. The number 11 is the 56 of Warwick D has an interesting moment there through Christmas. But the number 11 kart is Oxford Brooks B. It's your current leader. It has Joe Bleakley at the wheel, and he's on shot there in the luminescent green and black race suit, or rain suit even, he's chosen to wear in these conditions. They are your leaders, and we are about halfway through the race, just coming up to halfway through the race. There's 13 minutes left of this one. These races are 25 minutes. There's a penalty for Imperial B. So have a look and see what that one is for. But they're your current leaders. We did have Brooks A at the head of the field, but they're gone. They've had an absolute disaster start to their season, and they will be playing no more significant part in this one. So Brooks B lead, Warwick A are still second. Southampton A, amongst all that action we saw in the black flag for the Cambridge car, they're now third. Bath A, I mean, if Southampton A, thankfully I think there's quite a gap now between Southampton A and Bath A, but we saw some none too chuffed gestures between, I keep using the term gestures, but that's what they were clearly unhappy with each other.
Penalty for the 64, Imperial B, 2 times track limit, so they've got a time penalty that will be added onto their at the end of the race. Here's your leader, Bleakley, doing a fantastic job. He's probably the only driver that I've seen so far in this front pack who's actually kept his head together, and that's why he's in the lead.
Right, let's see if I can get this in. I think we're going to stay with Joe Bleakley here for a whole lap, so let's talk you through this lap of Whilton Mill. He's going to cross the start-finish line now and then chuck the kart into the first turn, a left-hander called Oblivion, very aptly named. You really just got to show a lot of faith and chuck it in. Then he'll go through this right-hander, the Crook, and head up the hill towards the first braking zone on the track, or at least the first braking zone in the dry. In the damp it might be slightly different. This is Christmas Corner now, uphill braking, you can brake nice and late, overtaking opportunity, certainly under standard conditions. He'll go through a little left-hand kink, and then comes another braking zone, the right-hander at Inkermans. Then he's got to weave his way through, here he's going through Inkermans, then he's going to weave his way through the left of Zulu as there's some action going on behind him.
So I think it was fine. I thought he would overtake the yellow now, he is a bit behind.
Yeah, he'll now come onto the back straight, there he is, going along the back straight, and then he'll come into a complex called the Boot, a left followed by 3 rights, as there's another penalty for Brooks A. Oh goodness me, Andrew, what's going on here? There was an incident that where you were seeing. The Boot concludes the lap, so we have now spoken you through a full lap of the track. What is this going on?
61 Swansea C are involved. There was a Warwick kart in there as well, which might be Warwick C because they're not coming through Sector 2, and I think possibly Cambridge involved as well. We'll have to wait and see. Yellow flag, that's how you observe a yellow flag.
Yeah, raise
well
a hand to that. Good job there. He's doing what he needs to do, isn't he? And he's got a healthy lead as well. 4.8 seconds the gap to Warwick A, which has Ben Street at the wheel. Fastest lap of the race just set by, is that Taylor Adams, Andrew, who's out for University of Wales Trinity St David Swansea. A key member of that team is Taylor. Very, very competent and fast driver. One to watch out for this year, as it has to be said, is Joe Bleakley here, putting in a stellar drive so far. It's a tale of 2 teams for Brooks in this race, although they do have Brooks D out in this one as well, currently running in 9th. But tale of 2 teams in many ways for Brooks. Their A team having a disaster race at the back. 2 penalties, as there's a black flag for Warwick C for spinning under yellow, which I imagine is going to be that incident we saw up at Inkermans, getting to the point where we genuinely can't tell you how many people have been involved in incidents here. By my count, everyone from 21st downwards has had some sort of incident or accident, come to a stop, spun under yellows, black flags, penalties, whatever you like. It really has been a scruffy start to the year, this.
Let's just point out some drivers coming through the field. As we mentioned, Taylor Adams for the University of Wales, Trinity St David Swansea kart. Also Imperial about 3 seconds quicker a lap than the drivers around them. So that's Stephen Moffat at the wheel of the 44. Next on his hit list is Oxford Brooks D in 9th. So that's one of your karts that had the drama on turn 1. But I think he's now, of those 4 karts that had trouble, he's the one who's been able to recover highest up the order. Here's a battle for second though. Southampton looking up the inside of Warwick. Oh, the Warwick, that's another one of the Warwick cars, the 56, but Titus Michelis is through, has a much better overtake that time on Ben Street. Penalty, oh dear.
What's this one for?
This is a cone
abuse. Jamie Desir, I think he's hit that zone, Andrew, where he just has got so worked up. Happens to the best of us, but he's got so worked up that he's just, racking up these penalties after penalty. I mean, in some ways, it's of 0 effect now because what's done is done. But
Warwick A, nice shot for Warwick.
Yeah, good shot for Warwick. 3 karts and shot, and indeed the Warwick A kart keeping Titus Michelis quite honest. So Warwick A is the driver with the white helmet and white and black suit there, just putting a lap on his fellow university runner. Hopefully that university runner is aware he's there. Yep. Either way, he's now passed, and he's going to chase down Titus Michelis in 2nd place. that's one of the closest battles in the top 10. They've spread out quite a bit. Imperial A did get past Bristol A and Brooks D in the last couple of laps. But is that another penalty for them?
It is.
3 times track limits, dearie me. Not what Brooks A needed at all. So this is, as we said, a disaster start to the season here. There are, let's be very clear, there's a penalty for Brunel B as well for breaching track limits 4 times. Now what you're seeing Joe do on that shot there, you may think, well, that's a track limit infringement he's just done there. No, they're allowed to use the runoff on the exit of turn 2, although there is a point where that's ever diminishing returns.
56 is off. This is the Warwick C cart, I think it is.
Yeah.
Off in turn, Warwick D. Off in turn 1. They're down in 27th place though. Well, 6 minutes, just under 7 minutes of this race to go.
I don't know what to say.
Doing this, but I think we had similar to Glenny Gores last year, where we have to call it as it is. And this has been a mess.
This has been a messy race. This really has been a messy race. And I understand, you know, some drivers compete in other series. Some drivers, this could be their first ever race in Club 100 Mr. Machinery. Huge, as there's a black flag for Warwick C. Actually, that's a repeat showing of Warwick C. It's not just the guys at the back, no, it's all through the film, and this is what's surprising. So we completely understand, you know, there's a huge variation in skill levels across this field, but for the most part, I think people are just a bit race rusty. The racecraft is maybe not there. Contact warning now for Cambridge, who have already had a black flag this race. Thankfully, Joe Bleakley is still putting in a stellar drive.
Titus is off! Titus is off.
Jealous.
Second place is spotted up at Christmas. If we can pan the camera ever so slightly left, we'll see there he is. Titus Pacellis is out. Oh, well, that is a real shame for Titus Pacellis. He was running so well. He's not going to lose too much time, but he's definitely lost second place to Ben Street in the Warwick cart. He's lost a place to Bath A as well. You can see them there. Northumbria A have also made their way back up the order, and there they are, the 35. So Southampton are going to probably drop to about 6th or 7th place, Howard.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's Warwick A up to second, of course.
Here's your battle for what is now 3rd place between the 25 and the 35. That's just a back marker that they're navigating around.
Yeah, Bath A and Northumbria A.
So this is Max Treychart and the 35 of Denholm Smith. See the different lines, another black flag for the 41.
It's a repeat showing of the black flag. The 41 really needs to report to the pit lane. The one thing you don't do, well, the best thing to do is don't get a black flag, but if you get one, for goodness sake, that's a challenge for third. Oh, little bit of contact there, just the understeer there of the Northumbria car, but here we go. It's going to be Smith versus Treasure. Oh, it's a yellow up at Christmas, is that? So they're going to have to stay as they were. As who's that off? That was the number 40. By the looks of it, 48. That's Brunel C, who have gone off in turn 2. Well off the racing line, thankfully, so they'll be safe recovering that. But we're looking at the battle over 3rd place, as we say, between Northumbria A in the blue suit in 4th currently, and Bath A in the white suit currently in 3rd, as they head onto the back straight and head towards the boot. Treychart seems to have got a bit of a breathing space now compared to the start of the lap, maybe slightly struggling through that middle sector.
Well, I have to say, Titus Pacellis' spin has, as there's another penalty for Oxford Brooks A. Meanwhile, the teammate in that squad, Joe Bleakley in the Oxford Brooks B cart, looking pretty good now. A 7.5 second lead over Ben Street in the number 16 Warwick cart. Bath A now 3rd as we continue to follow this battle. Northumbria A 4th. Southampton A now down to 5th.
I've got to say, Andrew, the fact that Tyson Pacellis in the Southampton A car is running 5th, having had a spin, shows just how incident-packed this race has been.
Into the top 10 now has also come the University of Wales Trinity St David's Swansea car. This is Taylor Adams, very experienced driver, very fast driver, up to 10th place now. Brunel P have also just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:03.141. Just going to look for where they started. They started in 7th, so they've had incidents. It's Rob Holland with the wheel.
Fastest lap of the day so far, showing the conditions are getting better out there, but I'm not sure this lot would believe it. There's been a lot of slipping and sliding.
We also need to mention our new team, Manchester Metropolitan A, in their first race are up in the top 10. This is a fantastic effort from the driver in the number 79, Sam Richardson. Is he a relation?
I was going to say, not too bad of a surname to have in this paddock, is it? So, here we are. We're looking now at Max Treichart in the Bath A kart running third, and as you can see, the gap has spread out, has grown slightly. We've got a yellow up at Christmas for another driver who is stationary. As I say, some drivers, this will be their first race, and let's not take away from it, Andrew, because we've sounded a bit sort of we're grumpy with those at the front, who, as far as we're concerned, should know a bit better. Completely appreciate that these are tricky conditions, and some of the inexperienced drivers out there, this could be the first time they're in damp conditions in Club 100 kart. It's a really challenging environment. Driving in the wet can be fun in these karts, but it's a completely different skill to driving fast in the dry. So they're having a very steep learning curve out there, and fair play and respect to them out there for keeping going and learning it. Hopefully they will. They are enjoying themselves still out there. We are in the final 2 minutes of this race. Joe Bleakley. There's a driver stuck. That's not how you recover the kart. Well, it's going to work for him, but that's an unusual method for doing it. Yes. Right. This is putting a lap on someone, isn't it? This is third place. So they're just working their way through the traffic now. Having a quiet race is our leader. 8 seconds up the road, Andrew, from Warwick A, who in turn are 6 seconds up the road from this third place pairing that we're watching.
Max Treichart, I have to say, has dug really deep in this this part of the race. As there's some
driver getting restarted on the back straight, Andrew. So that yellow will come in.
So, but really dug deep here, because a few laps ago, the Northumbria A kart of Denholm Smith was all over the back of the Bath A kart, but now Treichart has got a good lead. Here goes Joe Bleakley then, onto the final lap of this first race of the day at Whilton Mill, and he's looking pretty good. 5.8 seconds clear now. He just had a bit of traffic to negotiate on that last lap, but he's just got to stroke it home now. He's got the 68 ahead of him. That's one of the Warwick. That's the Warwick E kart. They've had a good race. Up in 15th at the moment.
That's not fourth place stationary up at Christmas, is it?
No, I don't think it is.
It's not.
It's
Apologies. Yeah.
But here goes Bleakley round increments. He's got about. There's all sorts going on this last lap.
I have to say, we would usually try and tell you who the spinners are, but I'm afraid they're just so numerous that we aren't able to cover them all. There's 2 off at Christmas, 1 off at Inkermans. There's nobody off in the boot though, so at least Bleakley, I think, is going to have a clean run to the line now. Yeah,
he just gets past the Warwick E kart, and he's just got to go around the last 2 corners for what's been a really fantastic race for Joe Bleakley. Fully deserved. The only driver who kept his head throughout this whole race. I know that sounds a bit harsh, but it's true. Joe Bleakley wins for Oxford Brookes B, the first race of the Saturday qualifier. He takes 60 points for his team, and that's a fantastic start for them. Who's going to take second? It looks like it's going to be Ben Street.
Yeah, and a good drive from Ben as well, actually, yeah. I think, for the most part. Didn't see anything too untoward. Look at this! Battle for third place towards the line, 25 and the 35. Who's going to take it? It's going to be Bath A, as they were Max Treichart, but my God, again, they seemed unhappy with each other coming around the final corner. The Northumbria A finished 4th. Good race for them when it's all said and done.
Oh, close there for the 7th place as well. Warwick B just getting that ahead of Aston A.
Titus Buchellis finishes 5th for Southampton A. He'll be a frustrated man. Imperial A 6th. Warwick B 7th. Aston A finished 8th. Taylor Adams in the UWTSD Swansea kart. Solid drive, 9th place. Brooks D will round out your top 10. Then it's Brunel B, Brooks A. Brooks A managed to finish 12th, but my goodness me, that is not what they were hoping for at all. Disaster for them. Bath B, Bristol A 14th, Warwick E 15th, 16th were Oxford A, Sheffield B 17th, 18th York. Here's the result coming up on your screen. Northumbria B 19th and University of West of England A rounding out your top 20. I'm not going to lie, Andrew, I don't want to be too harsh early doors, but that's not really the start we wanted to see in many regards.
No, but well done to Oxford Brookes B.
Yep.
That was how you meant to do it.
Yeah.
And as a result, Joe Bleakley's taken the win. So there we go. That's the end of race 1. I hope you have enjoyed it. We'll be back with race 2 very, very shortly.
Welcome down to the grid. Hopefully you can all hear me now and see me. We're here with winner of race number 1, Joe Bleakley. Joe, not much overtaking for you to do there other than the first lap. Tell us about that.
Yeah, first lap, I don't know, just sort of managed to place my kart right down the back straight, and I think I ended up first by Christmas, so it was quite good, and then binned it the lap after.
Yeah, 'cause you started about 10th, was it? You started?
Yeah, I did, yeah. 10th.
Incredible first lap. Yeah. How are the conditions out there?
Just greasy, like, I don't know, I like them, but not a lot of people seem to. It's good for me.
And just quickly, bad start to the day for your A team. Jamie Desira finishing about 13th with a couple of black flags. How's that fare for their title challenge this year?
I think it's early days. I'm sure they'll still be there or thereabouts. They're still the best team this year.
Very, very on message like that. Joe, congratulations. I'm sure we'll talk to you later on the grid.
Yeah, cheers.
Now, we had our second place man knocking around, Ben Street. I'm going to beckon him over now. He's coming down for an interview. Ben started 16th, was it, Ben?
14th, I think it was.
14th. How did you make it your way up to second?
I don't know, people just span off, didn't they, and caused carnage. I just went through in the end, so it's a good clean race for me, for once.
How's the conditions out there? Joe says it's greasy.
Moist.
Like that, yeah. And I see you brought your girlfriend here with you today.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing more to say about that?
No.
Okay. Are you looking for the next race? You reckon you can catch up with Joe?
Hopefully it gets a bit drier as well in the afternoon and get some more speed in the car and go quicker. But no, hopefully, yeah, go first place next time.
Brilliant. Thanks for talking to us, Ben.
You're welcome.
I'll speak to you later, I'm sure.
Can't wait.
Let's find out who's on pole position of this race. And based on the big orange lid, I can tell you it's Rob Newman of Sheffield. I'm going to work my way in here. Excuse me, sir. I'm just going to have a quick chat with Rob. Rob, here we are again. We've been here before a number of times. You on pole position, me with a microphone.
No Jess though.
No Jess today. Double win for you then?
Maybe. We'll see. I don't want to be too confident at the beginning.
Any big names further back in the pack you're worried about?
No. You'll be alright. I think
How's your off season? How have you been over the summer?
it's been broad stiff. I haven't been doing any karting since the 24 hour.
It's a disappointment. How'd you get on in 24 hour?
Shit.
No swearing, please. We're live on Facebook. Did Will Chu let the team down? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, well, a little bit. But we snapped the stub axle twice. And the driver caught it both times.
Oh, fair play for catching it, yeah. Unfortunately, we weren't streaming that. So I might expect to speak to you at the end of the race with another win under your belt.
Hopefully, yeah. If I don't spin it, like Jamie. Straight into the tyres.
All right. Look forward to it. Have a good one, Rob. Let's see who's lining up alongside. We've got a thumbs up from Jimbo, which means the drivers are off. Unfortunately, we won't have time to talk to Mr. Dylan Rhodes in cart number 50. I don't think I've met Dylan before. We're going to pass back now to the commentary box whilst the carts dissipate around me. Howard, Andrew, talk us through race number 2.
Thanks, Jacob, down on the grid. Right then, let's, as they get underway for the second race of the day, let's take you through the grid order, and welcome back to our listeners on Mixlr as well. If you are out and about and you can't stream the video stream, then we are on Mixlr as well. Go to mixlr.com and search for BUKC. Race 2 then is going to see an extremely experienced and very rapid driver, Rob Newman, start on pole for Sheffield A, with Dylan Roche for Oxford Brooks D starting second. Third is going to be Lewis Nicholson for Oxford A. He's also been a very impressive driver, took a few race wins last year. Look out for him. Brooks B and Jack Ransom will start fourth. Fifth place, number 34 of Bristol A with Abhishek Gautam at the wheel. Sam Cobb will start sixth for Warwick A. Carl Roberts will start seventh for Warwick B. Swansea C and Ben Goodwin start eighth. Ninth will be James Johnston in the Swansea B cart. Rory Gills will start for Southampton A in 10th. And it will be Tom Obi in the Aston cart in 11th place, 12th will be Brunel A and James Ryan. 13th place will be Liam Kearns in the Brunel C cart. 14th will be Andrew Dawson in Northumbria A's effort. Row 8 of the grid, 15th and 16th, will be Curtis Granger in the Brooks C cart and Sam Baxter in the Bath B cart. Will Goodhue will start 17th for Swansea A, and then it's UEA, University of the West of England, with Steve Daly at the wheel in 18th place. 19th will be George Halliwell in Northumbria B's kart. Stephen Howes will start 20th for Brighton. Archie Hobson will start 21st for Warwick D. And then it's going to be Felix Kurgel in the Aston C kart in 22nd. 12th row of the grid will be Kevin Tsang in the Warwick C card in 23rd, and Karolis Yastremskas in the Southampton B card starting 24th. 25th will be Harry Curtis for York, and Laura Clark will start 26th for Oxford C. Looks like we might be good for a start, so I'm just going to go through the last ones. It's Oxford B 27th, 28th is Warwick E. Imperial B is 29th, Bristol B is 30th, Imperial C 31st, Manchester Met 32nd, and Sheffield B will start 33rd. See the drivers start. No, we are going around one more time, so just to give you the names of those drivers, it was Frederick Follows who will start 27th for Oxford B, Nima Opava who starts 28th for Warwick E, Vladimir Baranchikov will start 29th for Imperial B, Kodor Koder will start, Kodor Koder will start 30th for Bristol B. Leon Wu will start 31st for Imperial C. Harry Ormerod will start 32nd for Manchester Met. And then Max Bolter will start for Sheffield B in 33rd. That's your grid for race 2 then. And we will be hoping for a slightly cleaner start. We've got a kart spun off there in the well, actually, that's not part of the circuit we're using today. That's in a corner called Chapman's. So, issue there, and that driver will have to start at the back, crucially. Weren't able to see what number it was, unfortunately, but under the rules, if you spin off on rolling up, you have to start from the back. So, I think we're going to be good for a start this time. Rob Newman then in the orange helmet, leading with Dylan Roach in the Brooks D kart alongside. How's this start going to go? We look to the lights. And we're away for race 2. Do they make it through turn 1 cleanly? Second place runs wide, but it looks broadly clean as they come through. Newman's been able to hold on to it as they head up the hill. You can see Sam Cobb in the flame-designed helmet there. We have got a stationary kart. It looks to me like it's the 71 potentially of Aston C. We'll look for that to be confirmed, but Rob Newman it is who leads them through Christmas for the first time. Thankfully one driver has come to a stop, in Christmas Corner. Through Inkermans they go. Already Rob Newman with a slight breathing gap on the rest of the field as he comes onto the back straight. Here they are weaving their way through the Zulus. The usual jostling for position of a first lap going on as usual. We'll confirm what's happened to everyone as they come around. As there's contact between Sam Cobb and the number 5 of that's Oxford A. Oxford A have been hit there and gone round. So as they come round to finish this first lap, it is Rob Newman for Sheffield A, and indeed Dylan Roach has been able to hold on to second place for Oxford Brooks D. However, Warwick A, Sam Cobb now up to 3rd, Warwick B 4th, Bristol A 5th, 6th is Brooks B, 7th Swansea B, Aston A are 8th, Southampton A are 9th, and 10th is Brunel A, but there's going to be a question mark over that move from Sam Cobb there because there was contact with the Oxford A kart. Not sure how the stewards will see that one. So as they come through and look at this is that Warwick B challenging Sam Cobb there? I'll have to check that as they come down through the Zulus. It's kart number 19.
It's 34.
It's 19. Warwick B's got ahead of the Warwick A kart there. That's 19 ahead of 16. So overtake there of Kyle Roberts on Sam Cobb. Slightly unusual to see there. They will presumably be aware they're teammates. But that was a bit unusual as they come around to finish this lap. Oh, Sam Cobb had a leery moment there in the final time. You can see him fighting the steering wheel. So difficult, these conditions, these damp conditions. But not so difficult, it would seem, for Rob Newman, who sets a fastest lap of the race, a 1:04.171, already a 2.5 second gap. Now, we've seen this stuff from Rob Newman before, one of the most successful drivers last year, and there is a black flag for Sam Cobb in the Warwick A kart, and that will be for contact with Lewis Nicholson in the Oxford A kart. Now, Nicholson along with Callum Hughes, who's no longer in the BUKC, I believe he's now graduated, had several endurance wins last year. Nicholson is a very competent driver. Cobb is a very experienced driver. And it was just unfortunate contact. There wasn't a lot of malice in it. It was just a bit clumsy, a little bit of contact on the rear of the Oxford A kart, and he was round. So Cobb will come round, and I think he crossed the line before the last black flag was shown. Oh no, he does know. He's coming in. So Cobb there pulls into the pit lane, and that promotes Bristol A into fourth place. So Sheffield A lead with Rob Newman at the wheel. Then it's Brooks D with Dylan Roach, who's been able to hold on to his second place grid start. Warwick B and Carl Roberts is third, and up to fourth now, is not Bristol A, but it's Brooks B, which has Jack Ransom at the wheel. Still plenty of this race to go, and already Oxford has largely been taken out of the equation, as has Warwick A. We did have a few incidents on the first lap further down the order. I'll just have a look to see if we can identify who those were. Looks like we've had some kind of incident for Manchester Met and Sheffield B, Oxford B as well, actually. So Oxford A Oxford A and B have had problems here. Warwick E, I believe. Warwick E are in the pits to serve. I can't see a black flag being issued.
No,
to Warwick E,
maybe
actually,
a problem
so
for them.
maybe an issue of some description.
Cart off in the boot as well, Howard. I think it's either the 82 or the 62.
Yeah. And Christmas as well has a cart off. It is difficult, these conditions. We can't get away from that. These are challenging conditions. And so far, although there have been a couple of incidents, it has been slightly cleaner than the first race we had. But it still could be a bit cleaner as we've got 20 minutes to go. Contact warning for the number 47 University of West of England cart, although he has just gone up 2 places in the last lap. So maybe, being as that's a warning, he won't... if he keeps doing that, he may suffer a penalty. We've got a yellow waving in Zulus because is that the 82, I believe, of York is stationary.
34 has got a cone penalty. That's Bristol A. So that's going to be a time penalty added onto the end of this race. Yellow flag out at Christmas. Put the teacup down, Howard.
I'm not safe to be allowed to have hot fluids. I'm just hopeless today.
That's the second time.
That's the second cup of tea I've spilt today. But fortunately, this one had nothing in it because I'd spilt it already.
Anyway, 4.2 seconds is the lead for Rob Newman over Oxford Brooks D with 5 minutes of this race gone. The number 19 of Warwick B is third, as there's another penalty now. This time it's for UWEA for multiple pieces of contact. The 47, just looking where they are, well, they've just hopped up to 12th place, but now they're giving themselves a time penalty. That's going to relegate them further. But here is your battle then, looking at the number 7. This is 69 and 7, Aston A and Brunel A fighting over 7th place, side by side coming out of Inkermans. Who's going to get the shot into the Zulus? It's going to be the Aston driver, Tom Obi at the wheel of the Aston cart with James Ryan with a helmet design. I quite like that one. We were saying in qualifying earlier, it's got a bit of a Heinz Harold Frentzen style back in the day. Ahead of them, there's the 34 of Bristol A. Abhishek Gautam, very experienced driver in these karts. Contacts warning for Northumbria A and a contacts warning for Brooks B as well. It really is very tricky out there. But look at Obi now. Obi's got a good run out of the first couple of corners. He's going to have a shot at Bristol A. Is he going to have a look at the inside? Gautam leaves a very, very wide gap at the inside, and Tom Obi's like, thank you very much, goodbye, and is through, and that is 6th place. And look up the inside, there goes, I think that was another. Oh, Gautam goes round. Gautam goes round all by himself. Well, that's a real shame for the Bristol driver. Just got a little bit loose off Inkermans and went round. And it's going to lose him a lot of positions. Fastest lap of the race, Rob Newman, 1:03.042. That's staggering. That's in another class compared to everybody else. And it's now 7.5 seconds the lead. Brooks D, second place. Third place, now Brooks B on that last lap. Warwick B down to 4th. Southampton A 5th. Aston A now up to 6th. 7th for Brunel A. And Bristol A now continue to fall through the order. Here's the 48 and the 50, followed by the 19 and the 11. And that's a change. Warwick B have got past into 3rd place. They've overtaken Oxford Brooksby, who won race 1 with Joe Bleakley at the wheel. It's Jack Ransom now at the wheel of the Brooksby kart. And Carl Roberts doing a really good job there for Warwick B, who've had a decent start to the day. 48 and 50 continuing to battle now. That needs to be a little bit sensible from the 48 because you're a lap down. That's the Brunel C kart. I don't think realises he's fighting against 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. Now Oxford Brooks D driver needs to keep his head. It's Dylan Roach. Doesn't want to get a penalty. Now there are no blue flags, but still, that's unnecessary, driver of the 48. Come on. There is a bit of a gentleman's agreement that when you know you're a little bit slower, you don't do that. Don't unnecessarily hold up people. And all of the 11s all crossed up there. Brooksby, that's a brilliant piece of driving by Jake Ransom. Down the inside, that's what we call a dive bomb.
That was a dive bomb, absolutely. So the Brooks karts working their way up through the order. Well, the 48 is going to try and come back at them. There's a bit of bumping and barging. In fairness, the driver hasn't seen the blue. Or there isn't. No!
He's going to take him out!
Oh, goodness me! The back. Oh,
well done, number 19. I'm sorry, 48. You can't be waving your arms like that with driving like that.
Yeah, surely the driver in the 48 down in 24th place.
Liam Cairns.
I don't know.
Well, if I was Brunel captain, I'd been having a little bit of a word because he's just cost his team a lot of points there with just silly driving.
We are, have to say, that
another black flag for Warwick A.
From Kyle Roberts controlling the 19 kart, the Warwick B kart there. How he kept that going, I have no idea, because that was a mad bit of driving, and he'll have known it's a back marker. So he'll be very hot-headed. James Johnston is stationary at Christmas for Swansea there. So unfortunate for him. That's I think is that the Swansea B kart that I think has him at the wheel. Yeah, it is indeed. So
here's your battle for 2nd place. An all Oxford Brooks affair, D versus B. And B looking up the inside. Don't take each other out, boys. Steady.
Blimey. Do you know what? It's not that I don't trust Brooks, but I partially wouldn't put it past them today. It's been such a mad day of racing already. That there we go, B goes through. Right thing to do from Brooks' perspective. Well, the gesture there.
Because a 1st and a 2nd off the bat in the first 2 races. Brooks B in a very good position.
Oh yeah,
I'll say, but I know it's very early in the season, Howard. But we've seen what happened last year, and the year before that, and the year before that.
Yeah,
you have to think championship at this stage.
Championship, nice. No, there's a lot of confidence there. Apologies for that noise. But Jack Ransom is showing some confidence on the brakes into Christmas now, as we've got another driver stationary, 2 drivers stationary up at Christmas, quite far apart, so potentially no contact, and thus potentially a black flag for spinning out of the yellows if they're not careful. If we haven't said it already, Rob Newman's checked out of this one.
Oh, he's gone.
15 seconds up the road. I think he could stop for a cup of tea. He's got about a tea's worth in tow in hand. So he's having an absolute stellar race.
I've just seen the lap time.
Yeah, it's insane. It is insane that he's setting a 102.993, fastest lap we've seen of the day so far. He was undefeated at qualifiers last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's undefeated at Whilton Mill qualifier events, I think the last 3 years.
Yeah, insane record that he has. As Ransom again gets a little flick up. Nothing wrong with that. You'll get a bit of oversteer on corner entry so long as you can handle it. Interesting line they're taking into this, isn't it, Andrew? Tight on entry.
It is.
Braking and, yes, there is a stationary kart up there.
Black flag for the 55, which is Sheffield B for a spin on the yellow.
Yeah, I think that will be one of the drivers we saw up at Christmas. There is a great demonstration of the traction you can get taking a wide line in the wet there. as he works his way through the traffic. Someone's stationary. Oh no, they're readjusting tyre barriers, so there isn't a cart off there. Contact warning for Oxford A. Had a few warnings so far, the Oxford A car. Obviously frustrated is Nicholson after the initial contact on the first lap with Titus Michelis. Not Titus Michelis,
Sam Cobb.
Sam Cobb, sorry. Yes, contact. Yes, that was last race. Keep it loud. Oh, as the 61. We've got to stop making these little exasperations.
Swansea C.
That's Swansea C going a little wide there.
It's Ben Goodwin at the wheel of that one.
In turn 2. Recovering on drivers left of the circuit. So many drivers have been involved in an unforced error, in an incident. We've got yellows out at Christmas again for another driver who's stationary. A lot of new drivers here today.
That's a change.
That is a change, isn't it? And they're going to have to. 15 can't have a response back because of the stationary cart and the yellow there. So there was no overtaking there. So I had to gesture to say, "Yep, that's yours."
The top 3 is well, barring any disasters, done. It's just a question. Well, I'm saying done because I don't envisage the Oxford Brooks D cart being allowed to overtake the Oxford Brooks B cart. I have no problem with that. Nope. That's what team racing's about.
Oxford B have got a penalty, and that's for continuous abuse of track limits. And very important actually, Andrew, because we do have some drivers who are new here today. Mistake we've seen from some newcomers in the past. Do not misread a penalty as a black flag. You don't want to come into the pits if you see penalty on the board. It means a time penalty will be added after the race. So you've got to be careful of that. Watching Rob Newman scything his way through the traffic through Zulus, I am. That's really quite something.
It's just a leisurely weekend
got
drive.
Yellows up at Christmas Corner. There's somebody stationary. It's amazing we're not seeing more black flags for spinning under yellows. It is difficult, as I keep saying. If you're driving in these conditions for the first time, it's difficult to get used to handling these slick-tired, direct drive cars. They handle so differently under these conditions that it is quite challenging. Closest battle then in the top 10 currently is the Warwick B Southampton A, one that changed hands a couple of laps ago. And other than that, they're relatively spread out. Oh no, the battle for 8th is quite hot between Northumbria A and the 35 and the University of West of England A and the 47. And we're watching, this is the 19, so this is Warwick B. This is closest battle, working their way. They'll now try to get past the Swansea B cart there. And that was, I think, just before the yellow flag. I hope it was just before the yellow flag. We've got a cart off there
deep
in the wall. Yeah, driver there is absolutely fine and recovering the cart, but yeah, that was tight for the yellow flag. Got to be said, as there's a black flag for Imperial C for spinning under yellows. The drivers have got to demonstrate, Andrew, that they've got control under these conditions.
Yep.
I'm not pretending it's easy, but there's another penalty for Oxford B for multiple track limits. I'm not pretending it's easy. These penalties we're seeing. This race, thankfully, fewer, advantage by contact penalties and more spinning under yellows and track limits, things that are difficult to get right in these conditions because it's just genuinely difficult to control the car. But it's got to be done. And on such fine points can things be decided by the end of the season. So they've got to try and keep it clean here. We have under 10 minutes to go of this race. Rob Newman is your leader for Sheffield A, doing a sterling effort at the front there and setting a pace that's in a class of his own, even working his way through traffic. He is setting an insane pace. Here he is, the orange helmeted driver. Get used to seeing this orange helmet because he's going to be, I think, a key player, certainly for Sheffield. And Sheffield, Andrew, yeah, he's just giving his hands a bit of just waving his fingers just to, keep the circulation going. And Andrew, Sheffield are one to watch this year. We've said it. We said it when we were previewing the season the other night on the podcast that we do. Rob Newman, Benjamin Topless is still with this team, is he not?
Yes,
and
he
it's
is.
Really a team to look out for. The other, it's a strong lineup that Sheffield have here, and they're one to watch. And they're getting the season off to the ideal start.
Newman consistently in the 103s as well. Just seems to be hitting the 103.3s all the time. And knowing Rob, he's probably not even pushing at 90% as he slides.
As he slides. That's not him pushing. No. Seriously, he's under control.
Cone!
Cone hit for the leader. Oh, goodness me, right in front of the leader goes a spinner there. Oh, into a yellow as well.
Today.
And did he overtake in the yellow zone there? Or was that
No,
that cart was involved in an incident at the time, wasn't it?
I'm going to be pernickety here. That yellow flag shouldn't be out because
technically
it's trying to cover for an incident that it's not in its zone.
Or was someone adjusting tyre barriers in Zulus as well?
Okay. There was no need for a yellow from marshal post D down to F.
Right, okay. Well, we need to keep an eye then here on, it has to be said, if Rob Newman has a penalty for code, I don't think it's going to matter, because he's got 17.8 seconds to the good here. Yellow flag out for a spinner in Oblivion, turn 1. It's one of our newer drivers, shall we say, that we can tell. Can't tell whose it is.
Sorry, more weird noises. Oxford Brooks B have just set the fastest lap of the race, a 102.953.
Wow,
79 keeps.
Well, that's the first time we've seen anyone get onto terms with Rob Newman's pace. It's got to be said. It's been difficult for them to improve lap times recently due to traffic, so that's got to be the first clean lap for Brooks B in a while. So Jack Ransom really setting the pace now in the Brooks B kart. And remember, Brooks D with Dylan Roach at the wheel, he's had a good drive, hasn't he? Started second.
Very good.
And has held on to it as Rob Newman gives his hands another little shake just to give them a rest. Important thing, the straight. The straight is the chance to have a break, as it were, in the go-kart, as frantic as this is. So just giving himself a bit of a rest there. But yeah, great drive from Roach in the Brooks D kart. Just has to bring it home, and it'll be a Brooks 2-3. Warwick B, also a good drive from Carl Roberts as well, and how he kept that going during the incident with it was the Brunel C kart, wasn't it? We saw at Zulus early on in the race. You know, let's give benefit of the doubt. Brunel C driver might have just not been aware that he was being lapped, but either way, Andrew, Zulus isn't the place to try a banzai move. It really isn't. Zulu is a difficult place at the best of times to get through in these conditions. Going side by side is an interesting policy.
I do apologise to him. I know I'm in a right foul, grumpy mood this hard week at work, but you can't just be driving and weaving around and pushing people. Not just in these conditions, in any kind of conditions. The pods on the side of the carts are not a permission for you to start barging people around.
I do agree with you, Andrew. They've just got to keep their heads here. I think everyone. Don't get me wrong. Hey, you and I both remember, Andrew, the night before qualifiers can be, you know, you're there thinking through the race start. Maybe you haven't raced for months, and you're thinking of it right up until the point where it's actually a reality. And then, you know, it can all be over very quickly. But you have got to try and keep as level-headed as possible, as there's a contact warning for the Brooks C kart. Down in 12th place, Brooks C is.
And I don't know if Sheffield use. I know some teams use intercoms in the helmets because they're allowed in the BUKC. I don't know if Sheffield use one, but if they do, I think they've maybe sent a little message to Newman to say your fastest lap's been taken away from you. To which Rob has potentially gone, I'm not doing this, and he's just put in a 102.427. He's just pulled out half a second on the whole field. Oh, but as I say that, Warwick A and Sam Cobb has just thought he'll have a piece of this. It's completely for pride. There's no extra points, of course, but it's a 102.2. Definitely getting drier out there. Or shall I say less wet?
Absolutely. The 62 of Bristol B was spun out on the entrance to Zulus on the last lap. Has now been recovered. We've got yellows waving because another driver has put it into the wall in turn 2. It is difficult, Andrew. It's right at the bottom of the hill. It's the last part of the circuit to dry out, so it's still going to be fairly damp. And the understeer, you know, in the dry. Oh, what's this going on here?
So this is a good battle here for 7th place, Howard. It's Northumbria versus UWEA. So Northumbria continuing their good start to the day in the 35.
It has to be said, a show of Rob Newman's pace that he is about to lap these people. He's about to lap the battle for 7th place as Newman in the orange helmet. Yellow waving at Zulus for a station. Someone's adjusting the tyre barriers onto the back straight, yeah. So Newman here will put the lap on, I believe that's the UEA kart that he's getting past there.
Bump and pass penalty for Oxford Brooks C.
Not a good race for Brooks C. Oh, was that the leader making contact with the back marker there? Was that Rob making contact? Who made contact with that kart there? Oh dearie me. Oh dearie me. Well, we'll wait to see how the clerk of the course saw that one. We'll have a slightly better view than we did.
Oh, up the inside. That's a good move. This is the battle for 7th place, side by side, 35 and 47. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one's viewed because the contact was made, but it did look like the driver in the blue cart just kind of checked up and stopped. And up the inside, there goes UWEA. Fantastic move there. Up into 7th place.
By Steve Daly.
Steve Daly. Oh, but look, Northumbria starting to fight back. It's George Halliwell at the wheel of the 35. Fantastic scrap here. Sorry, it's Andrew Dawson, sorry. Halliwell's in the B cart. But through there goes Daly.
Daly on Dawson.
And they're now going past the 62, which is a back marker.
As there's a black flag for Bristol B for spinning under yellows. And, oh,
Drone
we
cam.
got our first shot of drone cam. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we weren't ready for that, but we have got a drone cam on our video stream. Thank you very much for joining us on the video stream at the BUKC Facebook page. We are going to be bringing you video coverage of all of this weekend's action. Cone penalty for York, cone penalty for Northumbria B. A lot of cones are being knocked by the drivers. To clarify, you'll see as they're going around cones beyond the curbs. And Club 100, you know, the idea is if you're hitting those cones, you're using too much of the curbs and risking damage to your cart. So you are allowed to use the curbs by Club 100 in this form of racing, but don't be hitting the cones. That's the key part here. As you can see, a cone being replaced there.
Thank you, Johnny Goddard. He's going to be busy today.
We're in the last minute, so it's going to be this. There's going to be one last lap, is it? Or is it going to be 2 more laps, I think, for Rob Newman.
No, this is going to be the last lap.
This is going to be the last lap, isn't it?
Now.
So he's going to cross the line. Yeah, it shows last lap. So, well, actually, can we say it? I mean, there's been no penalty forthcoming for Rob, so fair play. Nothing's officially.
It was a weird one. I don't think he could have avoided it.
No.
The cart in front of him
agree.
completely checked up. I think there was another cart in front of him.
Yep.
Not intent in there. Just going to say, I think we've got lunch break after this race as well.
Okay. I think we need it. Oh, it's been a bit crazy, hasn't it, the first couple of races? Entertaining, but eventful. It has to be said.
Brooks B have comfortably got 2nd place now. They've got a just under 10-second lead over their teammates in Oxford Brooks D. Warwick B aren't going to be able to catch them either. So your 1-2-3 set. Warwick B should hold off Southampton A for 4th. Only 6 drivers on the lead lap. But here comes Rob Newman. It's not the first time we've said this. It definitely won't be the last time. But Rob Newman is going to win at Whilton Mill. He's going to take 60 points for Sheffield. Look how happy it is in that cart. Doesn't matter how many times he wins, it's always great to take a victory in the BUKC, and this one's a big one. A really big one. We now wait.
Catching the finishing line as well.
We wait for everybody else to come in. It's been Rob Newman and everybody else in this race. Oxford Brooks B are going to take some really good points. Oxford Brooks B are going to by far lead the event at the lunch break with 2 out of 10 races down. Oxford Brooks D, hey, I think Oxford Brooks are going to get 4 teams at this rate into the finals because D have got 3rd. Warwick B, that's a really good result for them, 4th. Southampton A, continued strong results there in 5th. We're going to wait for Brunel D. They are the last cart that are on the lead lap to finish in 6th, the number 7. Just waiting for them to come through on timing. I think they have already come through. There they go. UWEA 7th in a great battle with Northumbria. They finish 8th. 9th were Oxford A, and 10th, another really good result for Aston A. Well, do go to the website for all the latest results. The website, of course, being results.alphatiming.co.uk/BUKC. That is the end of race 2. We are going into our lunch break now, so we will be back, I think, in about 20, or we're not going into the lunch break. But we will be back very, very shortly. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for the start of race 3.
Well, how about that for an entrance? We're back on the grid in between race number 2 and race number 3, and we haven't got time to talk to anyone because we've had difficulties with the microphone. I would try and get out of the way. James, I suggest you get further out of the way, and I'll navigate my way around these carts.
Welcome back, everybody, to Whilton Mill. I do believe you can hear us on both the Mixler stream and the video stream. Isn't drone camera a wonderful thing flying around over start finish? We're getting ready then for race 3 out of 10. Apologies, we've slightly changed. We're not going to have a lunch break now, obviously, because we're racing. The lunch break will be after race 5. That's race 5. Meanwhile, the grid forming up for this third race out of 10 here at Whilton Mill for Qualifiers 2018. And the grid looks a little bit like this. On pole position for this one in the 44 kart is going to be the Imperial A driver, Ellis Jackson. Second on the grid, alongside him on the front row, the number 7 of Brunel A, Sam Nash, driving that one. Third place, Warwick B, Ben Simpson taking this one for them. 29, Marcin Matchak, very experienced driver in grid 4 for Brighton. Fifth on the grid is Jamie Henderson for Northumbria A. Petru Savanto, new driver in the BUKC, he's in 6th for Oxford Brook C. We're going to go around again. University of Wales, Trinity St David's, Swansea A on 7th. Reece Roberts taking this one. Lewis Wentworth for Bath A in 8th. Gareth Haynes, 9th for Oxford Brooks A, having had a penalty in qualifying. Piers Pakenham Walsh alongside him on row 5 in 10th for the Oxford Brooks B kart. Oxford Brooks D and Carl Reina is P11. Robert Tin for Cambridge is 12th. Harry Taylor, Manchester Metropolitan A in 13th. Matt Elmore for Bath B in 14th. Jack Chamberlain for Brunel B in 15th. Charlie Knox for Northumbria B in 16th. 17th is Ober Delager for Warwick D. Owen Heaney, Imperial B in 18th. Row 10 is Dimuto Egilagizan for Aston C and Takesh Kariwanza for Bristol B. That's a mouthful of a row. Row 11 is Ashley Davidson for Sheffield A and George Chapman for Aston B. Row 12 is Dougal Ferguson for York and James Wright for Swansea A. Then it's Swansea B, Swansea C, Oxford B, Oxford C, Imperial C, Brunel D, Sheffield B and Warwick E. Your grid. Pusher cart pulls away. Eyes on the lights. They are red, they're green. We're racing for race 3 here at Whilton Mill on the Saturday qualifier, and it's a very good start there for Imperial as they go through turn 1. Are they all going to make it? Oh, it's getting very close in there, but I think we're going to get every single driver through turn 1 and turn 2 properly for the first time today. Into the lead though goes Sam Nash, number 7. Very experienced driver around this place. Look at number 3. Look at number 3 coming up the inside. That's Oxford Brooks. There's a spin. There's a spin at Christmas, and was it the leader? It was the leader. Sam Nash has gone. Sam Nash has spun, and what a disaster that is for Brunel A as they file through Inkermans now for the first time down through the tricky Zulus section on lap 1 onto the back straight. But what happened there for Sam Nash? Just lost it all by himself. through Christmas corner on lap 1, and he's going to be very, very annoyed with himself about that one. There's Piers, Packen and Walsh coming through. He's had a good start for Oxford Brookes in the B kart this year. Good to see him moving up through the order. And all kinds of chaos. The 55's in there. I think that is Sheffield B, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. It was towards the back of the field. But and more chaos now. Running wide. Was that Packen and Walsh? I think it was. Brighton have had a really good start. Marcin there, up into second place. Ben Simpson in the new green helmet. He's always had green on his helmet, but very nice new lid there. Howard, that was another crazy one. There's another driver running wide. I think it's Cambridge. I think it's the number 9. Well,
Yeah, it might be.
we said at the start of the day, get ready for the 10 of the most pulsating races you've seen all year. I didn't quite think it was going to be this crackers, though.
No, it has been pretty crazy so far. Have to say.
We've had 3 already. We had the one up at Zulu, where a lot of the guys towards the back end of the field got taken out. Oh, who's that off in the last corner? I think it's the 32. It's another one of the back markers who's already we've not even gone through 3 minutes, and they're already a lap down. Black flag for the 38. Which is Swansea B. Oh, Manchester Metropolitan seem to be falling. They've had an incident on that lap. It was Cambridge as well, and Manchester Met have now got a black flag.
Spinning under yellows, which suggests unforced error and just common or garden spin.
So, very early stages of this one. 22.5 minutes on the clock to go. And another penalty. This time it's the 56 of Warwick D. There's 3 drivers off in the boot. And the yellow flag covering that at Marshall Post H. Drivers getting the speed down, getting round rather large obstacle now. The boot. Just see what's the camera pans around. There they all are. Can't quite make out which race numbers have gone on there. But Oxford Brookes running the show again. Here they are with the C kart number 3 and the B kart number 11. Yes, you did hear that correctly. Oh, as through goes Oxford Brookes B. Great bit of driving there by the number 11. That's Piers, Packen and Walsh getting past Petri Savanto in the 3. So Oxford Brookes B so far, well, I was just about to say Oxford Brookes B got shown up by Oxford Brookes C last year. As round goes Sheffield. Oh, that's a complete disaster there for the 55. And that's so easily done in these conditions when it's greasy. If you go, it's actually the worst thing to go on the normal racing line, as the Sheffield driver did there. You get on the brakes, it all goes wrong, you lock up that rear axle and around you go. Look at that, straight through. This is a brilliant battle for the Brookes drivers. Petri Savanto, I'm not quite sure how he just did that, Howard, but he overtook 2 people through the 2 loops.
Oh, sorry, yes indeed. Who was that going round into the boot? That might have... I didn't catch who that was either. You can see there... yes, no, brilliant move there onto the back straight. Another manic race so far. And look at this going across the line. The battle raging on. And have we commented on the drone cam yet about how awesome it is? It's awesome. We're loving it. But there we are then. Brookes C in 3rd, and then you can see here the battle for 4th, which is currently... Oh no, it's switched, hasn't it? Brookes B has got past Warwick B there in the 1st and 2nd.
But Brookes A are having a weird day.
There's a kart stationary in Inkerman's as well.
Sorry, Howard. Brookes A have just got a cone penalty. They're just having a very scrappy day so far.
There's Stu. Hello, Stu, in the pink tabard there, doing all the photography work. As we look at Brookes C entering the boot with now the 11 of Brookes B and Warwick B in tow. No, excuse me, because they've now got ahead of Brighton.
Yep.
Pardon me, I see what you mean there at the start of the lap. Yes, indeed, so change for 2nd and a change for 4th place, because Brookes B are now ahead of Warwick. So it's Imperial A ahead of Brookes C, Brighton, Brookes B and Warwick B now is your top 5. But yeah, there'll be a time penalty then applied to Brookes A at the end of the race. and that's going to be significant because their gap at the moment, they're right in that sort of top 10 battle. Currently on the back of Warwick B as they work their way through the traffics, and we've got a track limits warning as well for Northumbria B. Coming through the Zulus then onto the back straight, as there's a spinner just in front of that third place battle as well. It's another race, I'm afraid, where the number of people who've been involved in some form of incident is getting a bit too long for us to cover. A lot of issues. I think Northumbria B, Swansea B, Sheffield A, Oxford B, Bristol B, Oxford C, Brunel D. A lot of issues as there's a repeat showing of the black flag to Manchester Met. They need to report to the pit lane. Do hope that this team, who are new to the BUKC this year, know their rule book and know they need to report to the pit lane. It's a Brooks 2, 3, 4. There they are in shot. There's your media shot for the Brooks team, because all three carts, say all three carts, they have got all four carts in this race indeed, but three of the carts there in shot. And is there going to be a tactical change of position here for them, as we've got it's the 68 who's spun on the exit of the Zulus, as the Brooks carts come onto the back straight. So to clarify, there's Brooks C in the number 3, and then Brooks B immediately behind on track. No change of position this lap between the Brooks carts because they were busy working their way through traffic, as there's another showing of a black flag to Manchester Metropolitan. Yellow's waving because there's a driver stationary in turn 2. I get the impression that even by the standards of the qualifiers, we have more newcomer drivers than in recent years today. We've had a lot of... Oh, and here's the change of position then. Here's A coming past B, 2 goes past 11. As and they're going to have to arrange themselves neatly here because there's a yellow flag out at Christmas for a stationary cart there, and there's yellow flags at Zulus, so they'll get green flag conditions under Inkermans, and then come through the Zulus, acknowledging the yellow there. Good work there by the Brooks C driver, and another stationary cart there. That's number 38 Swansea B. And there we go. I believe now there is Oxford Brooks A. No, still hasn't got to the head of the Brooks field. So it's Brooks C from Brooks A and Brooks B. Meanwhile, Imperial A up front, 11 seconds up the road, working their way through the traffic. Ellis Jackson having a fantastic drive so far. 16 minutes to go. Just got to keep it clean, which so far today has seemed a little easier said than done for some of our drivers, even some of the more experienced drivers coming unstuck so far in these challenging conditions. But we're now looking at the Brooks show. That's Gareth Haynes in the number 2 cart, and there in the number 11 cart is Piers Pakenham Walsh for Brooks B. Yellow flag, still a stationary driver at turn 2. And there's a driver getting underway at the boot as well. I don't know if we've had a single green flag lap this race. I'm not sure if we've had a single green flag lap all day. But such is the way. A lot of drivers cutting their teeth here. And there will be mistakes. Mistakes are fine, so long as people keep a level head and it's not unnecessary contact that's causing these. That's the thing to watch out for. So, Imperial A and Ellis Jackson having a brilliant drive at the moment at the front of the field. If you go to live.alphatime.co.uk/BUKC, you'll see that the little gold dot on our driver tracker is well out in front of the second place Brooks C, with Petri Savanto, who we saw having a brilliant move earlier on in the race. Beyond the Brooks brigade in 2nd through 4th, we've got Brighton in 5th. Having a good drive. Warwick B 6th, Northumbria A 7th. They've just got past Brunel B in the last couple of laps. And then Brooks D have entered 9th place. I don't actually know when we last had one university with 4 carts all in the top 10. I'm going to guess if it's happened before, it'll have been Brooks. But for what it's worth, they are currently doing that. There's the number 19. That's Warwick B. Good drive so far from Ben Simpson in that. Ben Simpson, a driver who's got a few seasons of BUKC under his belt, if I'm not very much mistaken. Recognise his helmet and suit combination. Just coming up to halfway then in race 3. This is the third race of 10 that we'll have to date. There's still a yellow. Another car has come unstuck in turn 2. So clearly challenging, as we said. It's at the bottom of the hill. Whilton Mill is not a completely flat circuit. It's on the sort of side of a gradual slope. Not the greatest difference in elevation change that we'll see of the whole season, I believe, but it is still the case that you're heading slightly downhill at your turning point for turn 2, which means you'll understeer even more. And if you panic and start hitting the brakes, you'll almost certainly go into a spin. Driver stationary on the exit of Inkermans. You just saw them flash through a shot there. Thank you very much for joining us and supporting this Alpha Live production stream here on the BUKC Facebook page. As look at this, we've got the 19 working its way through traffic, and the 27 you can see the black helmeted driver there in the middle of this pack. That's 7th place, that's Brunel B. So this is ultimately the battle for 6th, with the 19 cart and then the 27 cart, and then the Northumbria A cart is also close in hand. So we've got to keep an eye here, because there could be a change of position. They'll all have to sort themselves out for the yellow flag zone though, else they'll be done for 2 carts off through turns 1 and 2 at the moment. Someone pity the flag marshal on post A. His arm must be getting very tired at this point with these yellow flags. We look back to the Brooks squadron formation of Brooks at the moment. There's the number 3 of C, and then 79 is a lap down. That's Manchester Metropolitan, who have had an eventful race, but still learning their trade in this one. This is their first day of competition in the BUKC. There we can see the stationary driver on turn 1. Not quite sure how they've managed to go off there, I won't lie. That's the number 52 of Oxford C. Oh no, excuse me, it's the number 62 of Bristol B, who's had an interesting incident there. And as you can see, another driver still stationary on turn 2. So bizarre set of incidents. We've got a Bath cart by the looks of it off in the boot. It's not Bath A because they're not dropping down the order. Looks like it might be Bath B. They're dropping down. What's happened to UWTSD Swansea? Looks like it's been in an incident as well, down 7 places. This is still quite, I mean, we're seeing a lot of incidents and accidents and unforced errors still out there, even by, standards of these conditions. So clearly difficult. I mean, Wilton is one of the slipperiest places when it's damp, it has to be said. It is a challenge, but a lot of drivers struggling there. We're looking still at Warwick B. Brighton up the road from them, and the 27 there right on his tail. So there's in fact this is the 3-way fight for 6th place. Warwick B there with the green helmeted Ben Simpson. As fastest lap of the race has just been set by Brooks C, a 1 minute 2.283, and then this, the 27 and the 35, that's the Brunel B and Northumbria A battle. So this is Jack Chamberlain in the Brunel B kart, and in Northumbria A, I'm just going to try and find it, it's Jamie Henderson. These two drivers battling it out as more traffic comes into play here. So Ben Simpson tries to driver's left, has to go to driver's right, and this is allowing the 2 guys behind him to catch up. Here they are lying astern, the 3 drivers for 6th place. Brighton slightly up the road from all of this. Another yellow flag zone at Inkerman, so no overtaking there. But what this is meaning is these drivers getting held up by less experienced drivers in these yellow flag zones, and it means no one's really able to gain any discernible advantage. Onto the back straight they come. He'll be able to, there's Simpson pulling to driver's left, and I'd also expect to see the Brunel B kart do the same. Indeed he does, going around the outside. They've got to be so careful here. Brunel B's going to get bolt there by the 38 slightly, but is able to get through. Meanwhile Northumbria in the 35 gets through. This is the critical skill of the BUKC. The great thing about the BUKC is it welcomes all drivers of all levels of talent and experience, but that means we get huge differentials between pace, and if you want to run at the front you have to become expert at cleanly and efficiently working your way through the traffic. Ben Simpson is showing the way very well at the head of these 3 carts. as someone spins right in front of them. Didn't catch what numbered cart that was. So once again, Andrew, 10 carts on the lead lap only. It really is staggering how many are falling by the wayside on the side or having some kind of incident. Ellis Jackson still 14.5 seconds to the good at the front of this one, and the Brooks team's running in cab formation, C, A and B, second, third and fourth.
I have to say, Jackson's pace has been fantastic. He's consistently in the 1 minute and twos. Or saying that, BUKC have just put in a 1 minute, 1 second, 1.635 second lap. The times are coming down, but Jackson's pace has been fantastic because he has been getting through the traffic cleanly and efficiently.
Absolutely. Another yellow flag zone at turns 1 and 2. The drivers are struggling so much down there. Still as you were in this battle for 6th. Oh, but that's an interesting place for Simpson to position his car going through the traffic, and it has allowed Brunel B to catch back up. And that's going to give Chamberlain a chance as they head into increments, but he's got to be careful. Chamberlain in a difficult... Oh, and there's a change! There's a change. I was about to say he's got to think about defending as well, and just as I say it, Northumbria A get past. That's 35 past 27, so change of position for 7th place. Northumbria A. Is Chamberlain going to be able to try anything back on the Northumbria A car with Jamie Henderson at the wheel? No, he's not, although Henderson gets balked by the traffic, and that might be the opportunity he needs. They're going to get side by side. Oh my goodness me! The back tried to step out there on Jamie Henderson, but is able to hold it, and I think that's going to be, well, I was about to say that's over. They're going side by side into turn 1, and he's gone through side by side through turn 2, and Chamberlain does it. Chamberlain back past Henderson. That's Brunel B back past Northumbria A, but they're side by side heading up to Christmas Corner. Fantastic battle this through the traffic, and up the inside goes Jamie Henderson in the 35 Northumbria A car. You can see Ben Simpson in the green helmet has been able to get slightly further ahead of these carts as a result of their battling, but it is a fantastic battle that we're seeing here between Henderson, Jamie Henderson of Northumbria A, and Jack Chamberlain of Brunel B. Driver out there on the grass and spun out. The number 61 of Swansea C being recovered, and we've got a stationary driver in the boot as well. Another unusual place for a driver to become stationary, on driver's left after the first apex of the boot. So bizarre place to have come to a stop there. Look out for who that was as they come round. I can't think that was an unforced error, and he's been restarted right in a battle, a group of carts here. Who was that, and how did it happen? It's the number 79, so that makes it Manchester Metropolitan. Not really seen many carts come to a stop there, I have to say, so something eventual happened. Ellis Jackson leads this race with just over 5 minutes to go for Imperial A. It's been, are we allowed to use the word imperious drive? It's been a fantastic drive by Jackson here, although Brooks are going to be happy to have a good result on the board for all of their teams. C in 2nd, A in 3rd, B in 4th, and D in 10th. If you're unfamiliar with the BUKC, Brooks are a long-standing powerhouse of this championship. There hasn't ever really been a period where Brooks haven't been competitive, but they have had several seasons of woe, where woe is defined as finishing 2nd, just missing out on the championship win. It's happened, oh goodness me, at least the last 3 years they've come 2nd place, haven't won the championship since 2009. So Brooks, always a strong force, but still looking for that first championship in almost a decade now. 35 Northumbria A car got held again by traffic there, and that has given Warwick B some hope that they might be able to challenge again for 7th place here. Henderson again getting held up slightly by the traffic. Now, it's not entirely the traffic's fault. They can't just pull out the way in the middle of Zulus. Zulus is one of those corners where you have to go single file. So this will naturally happen. It's just about keeping a cool head and getting your way through nice and cleanly. But Jack Chamberlain in the Brunel B car has all the motivation he needs here. He's right on the tail as we have... there's so many warnings coming through. This is a track limits warning for the number 50 kart. Is Brooks D, so Brooks D needs to be slightly careful there as well. This then, the closest battle in the top 10, the battle over 6th, 7th and 8th, with Warwick B and Ben Simpson at the wheel. I have to say, the field has spread out quite a bit as a result of all the various dramas that have gone on this race. Through Zulus they go, onto the back straight, and then they'll enter the boot section. So called, funnily enough, because of what it looks like from above. And indeed, today, for the first time in the BUKC, you are able to see some of the track from above, because we've got brilliant drone cam being piloted by Dan. It's already given us some exceptional shots, and we hope you're using that throughout the day. And indeed, throughout the weekend, don't forget, day one of 2 days here of the all-important qualifiers for the BUKC 2018 season. Here comes the battle then for 6th place through the crook and up the hill. And Ben Simpson now, I wonder if he's aware of how Jamie Henderson has caught up to the back of him, because the challenge by Brunel B to try and get past, and look at this, up the inside into Inkermans, it's happened already. Northumbria get ahead, but he runs wide, and Simpson in the Warwick B car is able to get back ahead by Zulus. So it's battle resumed for 6th place here. They'll go past the 55. That's one of our back markers as far as this race is concerned. Only the top 8 still on the lead lap. It really has been a dramatic first few races, it has to be said. Actually, all of them, all 3 races so far, have seen their fair share of drama as they come round. We've got 2 minutes left. Ellis Jackson still out in front, much like we saw from Rob Newman in the previous race. Just a dominant drive so far, and fastest lap so far actually held by Brooks C. So that's Petri Savanto. We're nearly there, folks. We've nearly dropped below a minute. Fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute dead, .641. So track is drying out, and hopefully by the afternoon there might be a decent dry line forming. We're still looking at the battle for 6th. In the green helmet is for Warwick B, Ben Simpson, and then Jamie Henderson is in the white helmet and black suit in the 35 kart for Northumbria A. Now Northumbria were newcomers to the BUKC last year, and I have to say this is a strong show we've seen from them so far today. More traffic is coming into play here. Are they both going to make it through? They are, yes. There's a bit of squeezing and they'll all have to sort themselves out into the yellow flag zone. We have another stationary driver there. So we look now to our leader. Here's Ellis Jackson, who, you wouldn't believe it given how much we've not had to speak about him, but he's leading the race. And he's leading the race by a good 10 seconds, and he's on the final lap. So it's been an impressive drive here from Imperial A. I have to say, we were talking about this if you were following us on the Mixler audio stream earlier on. Imperial looked impressive during the qualifying sessions this morning, and this may be one of your teams to watch. Maybe one of those teams who this year are set to move on up the order. He puts a lap on the number 7, I believe, there, which means he's now lapped up to 7th place. That's an incredible achievement in of itself. Oh no, sorry, hasn't quite got past the number 7. So the number 7's just going to squeeze onto the lead lap there. But here he is, he's going to round the boot. Just going to steer it through the right-handers now. Ellis Jackson, what a drive for Imperial A. I'm not sure when Imperial last took a win, but this one's going to feel absolutely delightful to them. Ellis Jackson comes across the line and takes the victory. Superb drive from Jackson, never faltered. We saw no mistakes. Absolutely brilliant drive, and Mr. Will Chu, who is the man with the plan of the BUKC, will be jumping up and down, I'm sure, because he is formerly of that Imperial parish. So good result for them. Brooks finish in their CAB formation. It's going to be Petri Savanto who finishes second, and then for Brooks A, it's going to be Gareth Haynes, who sets the fastest lap of the race, and the first person to dip below 1 minute today, a 59.992, and then finally it's going to be Brooks B, piloted by Piers, Pakenham, Walsh in fourth. Brighton will finish fifth. Quiet race for them in many ways, certainly in the latter part. And then for sixth place, well, who's it going to be? It's going to be Northumbria. Northumbria have got past Warwick B and stayed there. So Ben Simpson, who was running strongly in sixth throughout most of that, lost out on the penultimate lap, I believe. So good drive there from Jamie Henderson. In fact, brilliant driving, I think, between Henderson of Northumbria, Simpson of Warwick B, and then Brunel A's... Brunel A, excuse me. I thought we were looking at Brunel B for a lot of that, so something happened to Jack Chamberlain. Okay, so drama there. Brunel A 8th, Aston B 9th, and Brooks D rounding off the top 10, and a good result for Brooks. That, ladies and gentlemen, was your race number 3.
welcome to the BUKC 2018 qualifiers. We're here at the Grizzly Whilton Mill. Apparently the audio is not great, the video is not great. Apologies for that, but if you can hear me and or see me, welcome to Whilton Mill. True, you haven't got the winner from last race, Ellis Jackson from Imperial. We haven't got Ellis, he hasn't come to find me for an interview, but we can talk to the person on pole for the next race, which is Diego of Southampton. Come back down to Brooks in a minute, but let's go see what Diego has to say for himself. Diego, landed yourself on pole position.
Yep.
Brooks alongside you with a guy looking very fancy in his multicoloured suit. Can you hold him off for the win?
Yeah, he was changed for this race. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's the aim. Win this and that's it.
Okay, you're going to have to speak up a bit because the microphone's not picking up very loudly. What kind of experience you got? I can tell you're not first timer.
I've been racing for a really long time, and this is my 4th year in the BUKC, so should be good. I've never won. A couple of seconds, but never won. So let's see if we can do it.
So we can break that before the end of the day. Diego, I'll come talk to you at the end of the race. Diego's 4th season in the BUKC, looking for his first win today from pole position. Let's see who his competition is in the Oxford Books cart. I believe we got Matt Lewis. Out the way, guys, come on. Matt, Diego's on pole position alongside you, hoping to win his first ever BUKC race. What do you say to that?
Well, I hope him luck, but I'm sure I'm going to try and beat him.
How do you feel about qualifying in second? Do you reckon you can win this race?
Yeah, definitely. Struggled a bit qualifying. Couldn't really get a lap in. Haven't really been out on these karts since the finals here last year in April. And in the wet, I don't know when I was last out. So it took a little bit of time to get used to. Back into the rhythm of the Club 100 karts, but hopefully should have a good one. It's a bit dry in this one, I think. Should be good.
Well, great. Matt, have a good race. Let's see who else we got up further up the grid. So that's Oxford Brooks A, likely title contenders, last year's runners-up. Southampton alongside them, hoping for a good year. Let's push further up the grid. See who we got. Oh, Swansea Met. Let's have a chat with Swansea Met. Lining up in what would be 4th place, is it? Guys, who we got in the cart?
Harry Farnell.
Harry Farnell. Is he talkative? Shall I have a chat with him? Or quite chatty. He's ginger. Oh, well, at least we can't see that behind the helmet. Harry, 4th place in this race. Can you get a result for Swansea Met?
I hope so anyway, but we'll see how the race goes.
Much experience in the BUKC? I've seen you before, haven't I?
Yeah, last year was my 1st year and this is my 2nd year, so still quite new, but it's good fun.
Not bad. Did you karting before uni then?
I did 1 year BSKC and that was about it, sort of thing.
So a relative newbie then?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on doing so well so early in your BUKC career. Hope you have a good race. We'll go see who your competition is. Okay, James, you track with me down here. A lovely pink helmet for Team Warwick, who've had a mixed day so far. 2nd place for Ben in the first race, and a couple of black flags for the man on my left in the race after that. Who have we got in the cart now?
Alistair.
Alistair. I didn't recognise you with your helmet, and I do know you.
It's the first time I've worn it.
I was going to say,
Have a box.
I've not seen a Warwick pink helmet before, but Alistair, what can you do from here?
Honestly, no idea. We'll just try and bring it home and see how it goes. That's the attitude.
What do you reckon on Warwick this year? Can we see a title challenge, do you reckon?
Not from me, but we'll see.
For those of you at home who couldn't see, his eyes went really wide then when I asked that question. He was looking this way, so you might not have picked it up, but hopes are high then?
Yeah, but I don't know. We're only 16 plates, so things could go well. You never know.
Have a bit of confidence, we'll be fine.
Yeah,
Just bring it home, don't crash, and we'll get a good result.
They're going to win, says Alistair. Brilliant. Right, they're setting off. Not quite sure how that happened. I really need to stop standing by here. I'll think of a plan in between races, and hopefully when we do the next grid walk, I won't be right in the way. Back to Andrew and Howard, who are safely up in the port cabin doing the commentary.
Thanks down on the grid. Thank you, Jacob. Great to get the driver's thoughts ahead of this. This is going to be race 4 of 10 today at your first day of the qualifiers for the BUKC 2018. Let's take you through your grid. On pole is going to be Diego Martinez for Southampton A, and then second on the grid is the Oxford Brooks kart driven by Matthew Lucas, experienced driver for the Brooks team. Matthew Lewis, excuse me. David Haynes will start third for Brooks C. Harry Farnhill will start fourth for UWTSD Swansea. Thomas Constance will start fifth with Alistair, for Brunel A, with Alistair Irvine starting sixth for Warwick A. Cambridge will start seventh with Richard Morris at the wheel, experienced driver for them. Aidan Charity will start eighth for Sheffield A. Then we'll have Matthew Puncher for Brooks D starting 9th, and 10th will be Adam Pugh for Swansea C. 11th will be Kirk Langley for Southampton B. Ryan Edwards will start 12th for Swansea B. 13th will be George Story for Northumbria A, and Andreas Dimitriadis will start 14th for Bath A. 15th will be Bradley Caps Jenner for Manchester Metropolitan. George Malin will start the UEA kart from 16th place, and then in 17th it will be Suzanne Gutzold from Aston A. Tom Grunshaw will start 18th for Oxford A. 19th will be Trenton Delahaye for Imperial A. Warwick B will have Joe Perkins at the wheel starting from 20th. Then it will be Francisco Gomez Medina for Bristol A starting 21st. 22nd will be Brunel C and Samuel Goodwin. Alex Lead will start the Oxford B kart from 23rd. And then 24th will be Daniel Cohen in the Aston B kart. Jeremy Todd starts 25th for Swansea A. Callum Young 26th for Brunel B. Max Thompson 27th for York. Thomas Fox 28th for Aston C. Axel Hervenoya for Warwick C 29th. And I think, no, we're going around again. 30th will be Benjamin Rudling for Oxford C. 31st will be Jonathan Mitchell for Sheffield B. Ben Daniels will pilot the Bristol B kart from 32nd on the grid, and then rounding out the 33 kart grid will be Chris Hammond in the 53 numbered and 33rd positioned Brunel D kart. So here we are. This is the rolling up laps, side by side in grid formation, and then they will come round the final corner, look to the lights, and when they go green, it's time to hit the loud pedal. Don't forget, hashtag BUKC 2018 to post generally about the day, and you can interact with us at _MM will get us here in the box, Andrew and myself. Saw there a bit of the drone cam shot. Brilliant to have that for the first time in the BUKC. Here we are looking then to the start. Martinez on the right of your screen in the 15 kart. Matthew Lewis in the Brooks A kart on the front row. We look to the green lights, and we're away with race number 4. They go into turn 1. Lewis has been taken out, and Martinez is on the grass. Leader on the grass, and there's a spinner as well further back. Martinez there. It's all got a bit pear-shaped. Who is it who leads them up the hill? It's the number 3. That's David Haynes in Brooks C who's going to take the lead here, and Matthew Lewis coming to the forefront as well. Second place for Brooks A. Martinez down to third after his off-track excursion. He's going to try at the inside of Inkermans, but I think Lewis is going to have it covered. Indeed he is, as they head into Zulus for the first time through the left, right, left. Brilliant shot we're able to give you here of the race start, but it's David Haynes in the Brooks C up to the lead of this race ahead of Matthew Lewis in the Brooks A kart. Into the boot for the first time. Now, will Lewis go ahead of Haynes? It would make some sense. I think it's fairly confident that all Brooks karts will qualify today. Oh, look at this! There's a bit of a conflagration of karts there in the boot. At the bottom of the shot there, Martinez challenging Lewis again for second place. Oh my goodness me, there's at least 4 karts, 5 karts off at the boot. That is an absolute disaster towards the back of the field. You're going to look for UWTSD Swansea. Black flag for Imperial A. Complete contrast to what we had last race. But the thing is, Andrew, they've gone past the point of calling a full start. There's a point on the lap where they can't call one anymore.
It's Bath A, Oxford A, Imperial A, Bristol A, Warwick B, and I think Oxford B as well. All of those karts are falling down the order. They've been taken out in that incident.
Goodness gracious me. Our leaders then, it's a Brooks 1-2, are going to come through here. and look at them pick their way through this traffic. Look at this coming into shot. Most of the karts have got underway, but even so, that was a disastrous first lap, and another kart stationary on the second part of the boot. So look out for any black flags for spinning under yellows, although it was a bit difficult, drivers having to take avoiding action. There's a black flag for Sheffield B. Not sure what that one's for at this point.
It's bad news as well for Aston B, because they're one of my teams that I've got on the track at the moment is on the bubble of getting into mains or not. This is probably going to be a dropped score for them, and really at this stage of the day you don't want to be using your dropped scores.
No, well, yes, for some drivers they're still recovering karts, and the trouble is here the pusher karts are struggling to get traction across the muddy grass, so it's taking them even longer to position themselves to bump start these karts. You'll see the pusher karts are the orange and black striped karts. They're 4-stroke pusher karts with scoops on the front to get these direct drive karts started and underway again once they've spun. And still you can see some drivers will have lost 2 laps as a result of that incident. If you spin on the first lap and if you're involved in a big incident, it's expensive. There's a finite number of pushers out there. You aren't going to get going again for a while. Anyway, it is BUKC's David Haynes who leads ahead of Matthew Lewis still in the Brooks A kart. Then comes Diego Martinez, who had an eventful first couple of corners to the race, but has been able to resume in third. Fourth place is Richard Morris in the Cambridge kart. You can see here the Brooks guys have a slight 3 and 2 of the Brooks karts. They're already working their way through traffic because of all of the incidents that occurred on lap 1. They worked their way through the traffic there. The top 3 have got quite a steal on 4th place. Richard Morris is a fair way back from these guys, and he has Southampton B for company, which is Kirk Langley. There we go, nice aerial shot of Whilton Mill there as the leaders come through the boot again. And we head towards, this is going to be, we're going to have this race and then one other before lunch break, and also the second set of races 6 through 10 are going to be 5 minutes shorter as well, just to ensure that the programme is completed, the programme of racing is completed by the end of the day. Stationary kart in the boot, and it's looking fairly controlled stuff from Brooks front. We meanwhile are going to look back. Oh, well, I'm certainly looking back here. Richard Morris, who's a good way off these leaders, just coming through Christmas now and heading towards Inkerman's. Superb battle going on over 4th place. There it is, picked it up on the cameras there. That's Richard Morris in the green Cambridge suit ahead of the 16 Warwick A kart with Alistair Irvine and his, I'm going to say, Force India F1 team inspired helmet. Brilliant. That's a helmet change for Alistair Irvine, no doubt about that. He didn't have that last year. The bright pink helmet there, and I believe he's just got past Southampton B, and he's now going to challenge Richard Morris, in fact, for 4th place. Battle for 4th place, side by side as they head towards the final corner. Thinks better of it. Probably not too bad a thing to think, because going side by side into the final corner at Whilton Mill is not always to be advised, but looking racy here is Irvine for Warwick A. He's done several years of BUKC, though I have to say he's never been quite so noticeable out there, not to do with his driving, but just the rather bright pink helmet that he has. But he's got to be careful, because just on his tail there is Kurt Langley in the Southampton kart, number 30. This is a fantastic 3-way battle over 4th place. They're going to work their way through traffic. Spinners are plenty. Oh my goodness me. It's what we talk about. Never has it been more true than today, it has to be said, working your way through the traffic cleanly and efficiently. Down through Zulus they come. Meanwhile, out front, Brooks are controlling this one really nicely. David Haynes ahead of Matthew Lewis. And I think Brooks are largely allowing their drivers race. If they get out in front, then they're still not letting them race as such. Oh no, as I say that, change. They've changed around. Brooks A are now ahead of Brooks C. So Matthew Lewis to the front of this field as we've got a kart spun on the exit of the final corner, and that's causing... Oh, now is that Southampton B choosing to go left of that spun driver, and the person just behind him going right? Who's dropping down? Brunel A.
Yeah, it's Brunel A. Brunel A down through the order. Well,
disaster for them.
Sorry, Howard. They have now crossed the line. I don't think it was Brunel A.
Okay, all right.
I don't think it's any of our leaders.
No, it's the number 41. I've just had a look out the window. So that's
41.
That's the 41 of Warwick C.
Yes, it is.
So Matthew Lewis has moved to the head of the field, easy to recognise with his pink and blue helmet and matching race suit, has to be said. Very well coordinated is Matthew out there. And then in the number 3 there is David Haynes. They're a couple of seconds up the road from Southampton A's Diego Martinez, who's done well. Very reminiscent, actually, of what Jamie Desira had in the first race of the day. An incident going onto the grass, but managed to keep it going. Although it has to be said, in Desira's case, it didn't. The race continued to have its downhill moments, it has to be said. Much further down the road now is Warwick A. So Warwick A's Alistair Irvine has got past Richard Morris in the Cambridge A kart.
The time's also coming down quite dramatically. Is that a penalty?
Not sure. The graphic doesn't say what it was. Cone penalty for Brooks A. That's our leader. So Matthew Lewis now is not effectively leading this race. So drama there for our leaders. He's taken out a cone. That's a 5-second penalty. And so David Haynes, excuse me. There are 2 Haynes still, aren't there, on the Brooks squad? Yep. That's what's confused me. David Haynes is now effectively in the lead of this race. And he'll see that. You could see there, Lewis looked up at the sky slightly as he crossed the line. That's because he'll have seen the digi-flag upon which all penalties are shown, and he'll have seen that he has a cone penalty. Disappointing for him. Well, if he can pull out 5 seconds on his fellow Brooks driver, then the race is his. And he has actually pulled out a bit of a gap, actually.
This is always a weird thing with Brooks. As we've mentioned their history the last few years of Forever the Bridesmaid, Never the Bride, they're almost a victim of their own success. And I fear we're walking into the same situation again. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do now. You've got your A car.
Oh, sorry, Andrew. What's going on here? This is there's several. This is on karts on various laps, isn't it? Working their way through. Who can we pick up here? 38, Swansea B. So this is the lower part of the top 10, all working themselves out. Sorry, Andrew. You were talking about Brooks.
You've got your Brooks A kart in the lead. They've got a penalty, although Lewis is now pushing. He's just pulled out the lead to 1.7 seconds. You know you're going to get a 5-second penalty. If that's going to affect the results, you're going to be looking at the first 3 results for your A and your B team. Brooks B have been brilliant this morning. They've got a first, second and a third. Brooks A have got the 13th, which is probably going to be a drop score, a 4th. Call me cautious. I really think Brooks A need to win this race if they want to put themselves in a position where they're gonna lock it out and take the 60 points for winning this qualifier event here today.
The battle you're seeing on screen, by the way, is between Northumbria A and Brunel A, having a fantastic battle over 11th place, and also this, the 47. Actually, no, that's not for position. But brilliant battle over 11th place between Northumbria and Brunel A, excuse me. Manchester Metropolitan have a penalty for cone, so there'll be 5 seconds added to their race. The 50 and the 12 currently on screen. That's Brooks D ahead of Sheffield A, working their way through the traffic. So 5-0 there is the Brooks D kart, and then number 12 is Sheffield A. Oh, nice little move there on the Brooks D driver to get through the traffic into the final corner. Brooks D has Matthew Puncture at the wheel. Should be clear, that's Puncher, not Puncture. That would be an unfortunate name to have in the series. Kart getting bump started there up the hill. And this is so difficult, Andrew, because you get to the point in these races where you just don't know what is and isn't for position. If you're towards the front, then yeah, okay, you know what's going on. But if you're a driver at the moment, towards, I'd say from midfield down, well, once again they've lapped.
The lap time that Matthew Lewis has just pumped in at 56. The track is not going to get to dry, because if we're going to get to dry, we're going to about down to about 46 seconds. I mean,
even lower,
dry,
yeah, 44, yeah.
But Matthew Lewis has done 56.781. I think he's just pushing now. He knows he needs to get this 5-second lead, and maybe that's something that the Brooks team have within themselves. Is like, no, we're not going to play Ferraris around 2002 style team orders. You're going to have to race for your positions.
Sorry, Andrew, this is a fantastic battle through the traffic. UWTSD Swansea, the number 13 kart, against Brooks D in the 50.
Oh,
the black and orange helmet. So there is the 13 of UWTSD Swansea A, with Brooks D behind in the 50 and the 12 as well of Sheffield A, and Swansea B in the 38 are just behind as well, ready to pick up the spoils if this all comes to tears. So good battle this going on over 7th place.
Sam Nash got a penalty. Oh, sorry, not Sam Nash. Sam Nash's team got a penalty on that last one. Number 7, Brunel A, for a bump and pass. So that'll be 10 seconds for them at the end of the race.
Who's out for UWTSD Swansea in this one? It's Harry Farnell.
Yep, we've seen Harry in this series before. Oh, as round goes the 48. Just an unfortunate little half spin there for Sam Goodwin in the Brunel C kart.
Sorry for not picking your finest hour.
He was 28th.
Look at the crowd on the gantry there. Great to see people turning out. And look at this. He's got a run on him. Has the Brooks D car. Puncher. He points at something against the other driver. He's going to go through, I think, on the inside of Christmas here. He just has to keep it together on braking. Indeed he does. And the Sheffield driver goes wide as well. Sorry, not the Sheffield driver. The Swansea Met driver goes wide. And now he has to worry about Sheffield A, who are just behind him. So gain there for Brooks D. Right,
the lead is now 6 seconds, but Brooks C have just put the fastest lap of the race in, a 56.614. But under my understanding, the cone penalty being 5 seconds, Brooks A would still win the race at this stage.
Critical gap. He's got to keep it out to more than 5 seconds. Look at this. Sheffield A trying to go around the outside of UWTSD Swansea A. Just got the drive off the second part of the boot. Beautiful move there. That was fantastic stuff from Aidan Charity in the Sheffield A car. Take a bow, sir. Well, maybe wait till after the race, else you won't see. But
and cancel all of that, because Brooks C have just picked up a bump and pass penalty.
Ah, okay, so that neutralises it. And interestingly, look at this, still side by side. Sheffield A versus UWTSD Swansea A. Sheffield are going to hold on. Good racing there between these two. That was really good stuff up the hill.
That is brave stuff.
It was brave stuff as well, yeah. Yeah, really good stuff, as there's a track limit warning for Oxford B. Yeah, okay, bump and pass penalty, Andrew, off the top of my head is 10 seconds. So, now Brooks C have to worry about not whether they can stay within 5 seconds of Brooks A, but whether they can stay more than 10 seconds ahead of Southampton A, which for this race is still, this is Diego Martinez out for them in this one, isn't it?
Look, change again. This is the 50 and the 13.
Yeah, so that's Brooks
getting
D.
Involved.
Brooks D getting involved in this fantastic battle we're seeing for this.
And University of Wales Trinity St David have taken those 2 positions again. This is brilliant stuff. Track limit warning for the number 50 driver. Not good speed out of turn 2. This is going to give a chance to Aidan Charity in the Sheffield A car to go up the inside. Number 50 blocks the inside. That's good defensive driving. And look at Brunel A now.
I was going to say, keep an eye. It's Thomas Constance out for Brunel A in the 7 car in the green and black suit. He's catching up to this battle. Battling takes you off the optimum line. If you're battling, you're losing time. That's always the equation you have to run in these kinds of races. So as these guys battle, they are losing time, and it's allowing others to catch up.
10 minutes to go in race 4 out of 10 here at Whilton Mill. It's the Saturday qualifier for the BUKC 2018. It feels like someone's just turned it up a notch.
Yeah.
It's getting going now, and the standard of driving's getting better as well as the track gets a little bit less wet. Brooks A lead this race by 4.8 seconds. They have a 5-second penalty, but Brooks C themselves have a penalty of 10 seconds. So that's going to nullify Brooks A's penalty. Southampton A, though. Southampton A and Diego Martinez not out of this, but here's a battle, 38 and 7. This is for position. This is for 10th place. And, really late on the brakes there was the Swansea B driver. That's Ryan Edwards defending for his life ahead of Thomas Constance in the 7, who himself has a penalty.
Yeah, good driving there. And great to see holding on round Christmas corner. Bold place. You can be quite confident on brakes there, certainly under dry conditions, because it's uphill braking. Yellow flag out at the boot. Can't quite see why that is, actually. But there's a yellow flag showing there's now been brought in anyway. But this is fantastic battling. And critically, Andrew, the gap between 2nd and 3rd has gone down to under 10 seconds. It was above that, It was at 12 seconds at some point, but Diego Martinez for Southampton A in the 15 car has worked his way through the traffic well. It's under 10 seconds, and so effectively he's second at the moment, even if he isn't on the road. But he's just got a contact warning, which isn't a penalty, but he's got to be careful as well, as it looks to me like Brunel A are trying to line up Swansea B again here.
Southampton B having a really good race, although they've just got a contact warning. What did you spot?
Sorry, Swansea B just got held up by a bit of traffic there. Wondered if it would give Brunel A the opportunity, but it wasn't to be. Brunel A this time last year at the qualifiers put in a really impressive performance. I remember on the first day of qualifying, correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, they were the Loughborough dominated on...
seventh run wide. The 38's run wide. And I think that's going to offer an opportunity for... It's
going to be round the outside if it is.
Through. Is Constance going to get it? Yes, he can. Really good move there by Thomas Constance. Pounced on the opportunity and took the place.
Great stuff. And also Cambridge has just got past Warwick for fourth place.
Off goes the 41. And I think that was contact with... It might have been the number 50, you know. But 41 is far away
Warwick
down the order.
Warwick C is the 41. As there's a contact warning for the 13. Look at this, side by side, 38, 7 and 50. This is all four position through Christmas corner, and it's the 7 who comes out tops. Brunel A get up past, that's up to 8th place, I believe.
And also, what has happened to BUKC? They've had a very slow last lap. They're right in the clutches of Southampton A now. Only 1.1 seconds between. And meanwhile, this battle continues. Number 7, Brunel sticking their nose at the inside. It doesn't work out, trying to get past the 25. Does that offer an opportunity? Yes, it does. The 38 is back through. And the 35 as well. This is fantastic racing. This is what it's about.
This is fantastic.
This is it now.
This is the best race we've had today so far by our country mile. And you know what else as well, Andrew? Matthew Lewis in the Brooks A car, our leader. No, well, he's catching up onto the back of this. He's catching up the back of this pack. You'll see him in the back of shot. If we keep with it, there he is, just at the very top. He's going to catch up to this absolute conflagration of karts.
55 is the Sheffield B kart. They're a few laps down, but through all of that, looks like Swansea B have come through, and this is really crucial for Swansea B. They need some luck. They need a good result. I've currently got them. They are on the bubble. They are the team currently projected as finishing 27th at the end of the day, but they will leap up. They will leap up if they can get this kind of result. This is crucial that the number 38 keeps itself on the black stuff.
And just to clarify, 41 teams here today. The top 27 will make it into the mains. Penalty for the number 13. That's UWTSD Swansea. That's our 7th place car. That's going to be big. They're effectively out of this fight, although they will be a factor on the road still, of course. Where I'm going to look as well, Andrew, for what's happening between Southampton A of Martinez. He's right on the tail on the road of David Haynes.
That is where we need to be looking at the moment, with Brooks C and Southampton A 2nd and 3rd. The gap is under half a second. Imperial have got a black flag, but
they've already had quite an eventful race, I think.
They're down in 19th. 5 minutes.
Two spinners in the boot, Andrew. What's happened there? Again, a very unusual place to have come to a stop. They're just sort of, you'll see them as they come through here on shot.
Yep.
They're sort of stationary in the...
and they're all stacking up.
Oh, dearie me. Got to be so careful going through all of here. They can't overtake. Good job at least. Oh no, the driver being restarted has bolted the 41 slightly. Just saw as well. Oh, there we go. This is the battle. Oh, it's changed. Martinez has got past Haynes. Martinez is up into 2nd place, not only in theory as a result of penalties, but also on the road. Martinez in that yellow helmet has got past the white helmeted David Haynes. And good job there by Martinez. We didn't see the overtake, but he's got the job done. It is, as we say, academic, because he was going to be 2nd anyway, but to be honest with you, we haven't learnt the team numbers yet. He won't necessarily have known that Brooks C had the penalty.
Now the question is, it's going to be hard, really hard for Martinez to do this, but if he can pull in 10 seconds, he can win this race. It's not completely over, especially when you consider that the Brooks A kart, we know he's stuck in traffic.
He is, although he's a good halfway through the big battle that we've been looking over, that sort of 6th, 7th place battle. Meanwhile, I have to say, still Richard Morris of Cambridge and Alistair Irvine of Warwick A are having a fantastic battle over fourth place, up there as they just come through Christmas Corner now. So that's one to keep an eye on in the dying moments of this race. So here we are on your screen now as the battle for second. Matthew Lewis is up the road, but it has got a 5-second penalty. So if the gap drops any more, we're going to have to start keeping an eye on it. But this is Diego Martinez. He was our pole sitter. Ended up on the grass at turn 1, at the inside of turn 2 at race start, but was able to keep it together. Didn't have a penalty for that because he certainly didn't gain an advantage by going and doing a bit of rallycross. So he was just running wide. Penalty for Manchester Metropolitan. Just still getting used to racing in the BUKC. And I'm just going to have a look out the window as well to have a look for our 4th place battle as well, because it's a really good one going on out there. They're heading up to Christmas Corner now. Going through Richard Morris. They could not clash anymore. Richard Morris in his green and sort of orange and yellow helmet, and then the bright pink helmet of Alistair Irvine. They do not match at all. There they are, just going into Zulus now, working their way through traffic. Morris is going to have to deal with this.
And Irvine, is it Esteban Ocon? Is it Sergio Perez? I'm not quite sure.
Not quite sure.
Morris trying to get through this traffic. He knows how crucial this is.
Look at him scything his way through there. He knows he's got to do this. Apologies, it's not orange and yellow. He's got green details as well. It's matching the suit. But there we go. Morris up the inside, and this time it's Irvine who gets bulked by the traffic. So good job there.
Fastest lap of the race. I just think it's going to be a little bit too late, but Diego Martinez, a 54.533. And that's now been smashed by Swansea B, a 54.169. Wow, that's a good one from the driver in the 38, Ryan Edwards.
Well, he's had a massive drive so far, hasn't he? Been an amazing race for Swansea B, as you say, Andrew. Could be critical in their qualification come the end of today. Here we are, the battle over 4th. I am also monitoring the battle over 2nd, but I don't think there's been any change. Driver off into the wall at turn 2. Can't make out who that is at this distance. I believe it's one of our teams towards the back of the field. Richard Morris has done a great job working his way through this traffic. He's just gone past the UWTSD Swansea battle, so this is the carts that were really battling it out over 7th place earlier on. There's a change from position 4th. Oh, and what's happened?
But Swansea Met, remember, have that penalty, so that'll be nullified.
Yes, absolutely. So forgive me. Yes, I didn't realise that was for position. But yes, Warwick A have got.
There they are.
Sorry, UWTSD Swansea have got past Warwick A, but they will. There's no point fighting it too much for Alistair Irvine because he's still net ahead of them.
And
with less than a minute to go.
Southampton B still in this, trying to get past that back marker there in the blue and white.
I'm trying to identify.
not a happy situation, and now we've got a back marker trying to fight with Cambridge.
No, that's not a back marker. That's number 13. It's UWTSD Swansea.
Oh, wow, I do apologise. Oh, there's a spinner in front of this group that we've been following. But no, this is all a little bit academic because Swansea Met are going to lose a lot of positions due to their penalty.
Right, Matthew Lewis is on to his final lap. This has been a mad race, Andrew, but in a good way.
Yes.
In the best way we could possibly mean that compared to some of the,
two drivers off at...
Yeah, absolutely. Matthew Lewis knows he has to hold station. He puts a lap on the Sheffield A kart there, and the 38 Swansea B is about to... Actually, Swansea B might be about to...
let them go, Matthew.
Let them go, in many ways. But... well, in a way, I mean, Matthew can't get held up too much, of course. He's still got that penalty he has to negate.
He's got about 6 seconds in hand.
I don't know if he's going to try something into the boot, but either way, yes, he hit a cone. He does have a penalty, but he's so impressive pace-wise that he doesn't have to worry about it. Matthew Lewis, experienced driver for the Brooks squad. I believe this may be his first win for Brooks A, but he comes round the final corner, and Matthew Lewis is going to take Brooks A's first win of the day across the line. He looks properly chuffed with that little flourish into the first corner under yellow flag. Well, he might. That was a brilliant drive.
Here comes Martinez. That is a fantastic drive from Diego Martinez. I would put that up there as one of the best drives he's ever had in the last 3 years.
Tough first couple of corners, but managed to recover it well. And fastest lap of the race, a 54.055. So great pace from Martinez. Right, Brooks C will come across the line third. That's David Haynes. He does have a 10-second penalty, but it's not going to matter because it's another 30 seconds or so back to the UWTSD Swansea kart. Well-deserved fourth place. Been some fantastic battling amongst this part of the top 10. Just waiting for them to come through now to see it confirmed. So Harry Farnhill will come through for UWTSD Swansea. Richard Morris, good race for him for Cambridge. Alistair Irvine comes home in 6th place for Warwick A. Then it's Southampton B in 7th. That being Kirk Langley. Swansea B. Critical result for Swansea B. Good drive from Ryan Edwards. Finishes 8th. 9th is Sheffield A. Piloted by Aidan Charity. We saw some good racing from him as well. And Brunel A round out your top 10 with Thomas Constance at the wheel. That, Andrew, best race of the day so far by a country mile. Great driving, great racing, and Brooks have finally got some momentum to their championship challenge.
I'm happy now. That was much, much better.
Agreed.
Right, so that was the end of race 4 here at Whilton Mill for the Saturday qualifier BUKC 2018. We're going to take a short break in the comms box, go to musical mix, and we'll be back with race 5 very shortly.
I'm here on the grid with the winner, race number 3. Is it 3 or 4? 4. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun. Winner of race number 4, Matt Lewis. Matt, talk us through your race. How'd it go?
Yeah, right. Started second, so I was on like the outside for the start. It was a bit down, dropped down to about third, I think. First, like went straight across the grass, but managed to just get off like out in front of us, or just by us. Then he was battling me for a bit, a couple of laps. Then I got onto the back of David, my teammate, who's in the C team. Followed him for a few laps, and then we got some traffic, and I just managed to get up the inside of him up into the boot and just built a gap there a bit, really.
Pretty commanding race lead from there. Does that mean Oxford Brooks are back in business?
Hope so. We had a bit of a nightmare the first 2 races, so hopefully this has put us back on track.
Can you still win today?
Yeah, easy. 2 drop races.
That's fine. Oh, 2 drop, of course there is, yes. Yeah. Brilliant, fantastic. Thanks for coming to talk to us. Good luck for your second race. Will we see you in race 9?
I I don't know, it just depends on what they're doing with the other races, but probably, more than likely.
Obviously the others struggled, so they might need a higher grid slot. Right, just talking to us, Matt. Let's see who we've got lined up for race number 5. After race 5, we're going to have a little break. But for now, we're going straight into this one. And it's another Brooks driver here. Of course, the double pole. So who have we got in the helmet? I don't quite recognise you.
Oh, that's insulting. Kyle.
Kyle, I'm not very good with eyes, you know. I need the hair and the chin.
Look into them a bit more.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go very deep now. Kyle, just spoke to Matt. You said Brooks are back in business. Can you carry on the trend?
I'll give it a go. I can't see why not. Do a bit.
Am I right in thinking you won a year last year?
What's that?
Am I right in thinking you won a year last year at qualifiers?
I think so. I can't really remember. Probably, yeah.
So many wins. They all merge into one, don't they? All right. Well, good luck, mate. We're going to see who your competition is. Kyle Morby there, lining up on pole position. Next to him, we got another Matthew for team number 11. Remind me who team 11 are?
Brooks B.
Brooks B. So it's a Brooks lockout at the front row. A on pole, B in second place. Can you better the A team? Fantastic.
Thank you, down on the grid. Apologies, we are having a few technical difficulties down on the grid. But we're about to go into race 5. Right, Andrew just said something very poignant to me as he does his superb job of all the mathematics. This one is where we start to find out who's in trouble. As in, we start to be able to project where people might end up by the end of today. And if they haven't made the top 27, they are not in the mains. The rookies still will welcome them with open arms, the rookie championship, but this could be crunch time. Oh, crunch time starts now, if you like. So we're just waiting for the start of race 5. We'll be at the halfway point after this, and we'll have a bit of a lunch break. Right, they're underway. So, as they start to bump start, let's give you the grid. On pole for Oxford Brooks A, they took the last win in the race we've just had. Carl Morby starts on pole for them, and alongside him is his fellow Oxford Brooks driver in the B car, Matthew Taylor, starting second. Third will be William Wren in the Warwick A car. Then fourth place will be James Bumy in Bath A. Good effort from him to qualify the Bath A car on the second row of the grid. Kieran Woodhouse will start fifth for University of West of England A, and then it will be Nick Powell, who also put in an impressive performance to get Aston A up to sixth. Seventh place will be Zach Nixon in the Southampton A card, and then eighth place will be Benjamin Topless for Sheffield A. Brunel A will start ninth with Luke Barton at the wheel, and Macaulay Hampton will start the Northumbria B cart from 10th. 11th place will be Jaska Chamberlain in the Swansea A cart, and Dan White will start the Brunel C cart from 12th. 13th place will be Warwick C with Sam Stevens at the wheel, and then it will be Harvard Humphrey starting for Bristol A in 14th. Are we good for a start this time? Not quite, so I'll carry on. Daniel Burgess will start 15th for Brooks C. Kyle Paulus will start the Southampton B cart from 16th. 17th place will be Andrew Brown in the Aston B cart. Scott Van Breda will start the Bath B cart from 18th place. 19th will be Harry Grundy in the UWTST Swansea cart. Oxford A will have James King at the wheel and start from 20th place. 21st place will be Charlie White at the wheel of the Warwick D cart, and it's Pavlos Massos starting 22nd for Brighton. Cambridge will Fraser McKay 23rd place, excuse me. In 24th place will be Chengru Hugh in the Imperial B kart. Lorenzo Finocchio will start 25th for Imperial A. Harrison Weeks starts 26th for Brunel D, and then Boyle Kerr will start 27th in the 68 kart for Warwick E. 28th will be Nadir Graver for Brunel B, and 29th will be Scott Deacon for Swansea B. Yash Agarwal will start 30th for Bristol B. Imperial C will have somebody called Jason at the wheel, no surname given. Henry Bradley will start 32nd for Oxford C, and rounding off the 33 kart grid will be Jack Dobbins in the Aston C kart. Here we go then, rounding the final part of the circuit. I think we're going to be good for a start this time. Again, great shot from the drone cam we saw there. Indeed, the pusher cart will pull off to one side. Here they are then, an All Brooks front row. Can they repeat the win? Kyle Morby leads them away. The lights go green as they head into turn one for the first time. And going wide there, it looked like Matthew Taylor to me. And then we have got a few carts wide and stalling indeed on the grass, as we can see, as the drone cam tracks them up to the top of the hill into Christmas Corner. I believe Kyle Morby's been able to hold on to it as they head through to Inkermans for the first time. Indeed it is. Kyle Morby still at the head of the field as the camera this shot freezes for me. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. It's still Morby leading them through, and I think up to second place has gone William Wren in the Warwick A kart. Oh, going wide on the grass. Somebody, they're trying to keep it in. JV won't like that. That's not being kind to the engine. Somehow the drivers kept it going. I'll look out for who that was because they saved it. Anyway, as they come around to finish this first lap, it is Kyle Morby for Brooks A ahead of William Wren for the Warwick A team. It's Southampton A who have got up to third place, and Bath A are fourth. I'll tell you what confused me. I think Bath A's driver is wearing Diego Martinez's helmet. Or it is Diego Martinez. It's supposed to be Zach Nixon according to timing.
In Bath? You mean Southampton?
I do mean Southampton. I absolutely do mean Southampton. Oh no, excuse me. It is a different helmet.
No, it is Zach's helmet. It
is Zach's helmet. I do apologise. It was in the flurry of the start. So, Kyle Morby. Kyle Morby's got a penalty. Already a penalty for Kyle Morby.
Jump start.
For jump start. Deary me. Well, I did think he was able to hold on to it through turns 1 and 2. That's... I don't know what the penalty is for jump start off the top of my head. Warwick A then are your effective leaders with William Wren at the wheel. And Southampton A. Oh, what's happened to Southampton A? Just dropped down several positions there.
They got bulked out of Inkermans.
Okay. Apologies. It was Zach Nixon at the wheel, and that is his helmet. I know that. I'm just having to relearn the numbers and the names. Right, well, this is the challenge for Brooks A. I've just heard over the radio we've got light rain. Yellow flag at turn 1. One of our carts has gone off towards the back of the field. Who's been involved in first lap dramatics? The 13 of UWTSD Swansea, they've had some kind of drama. Aston C have had a drama as well. Track limit warning for Aston A. Nick Powell, he's dropped down somewhat because he started 6th and he's now down in 16th. So, Brooks A lead on the road, but have a penalty for a jump start. Andrew is furiously checking the rules, which are in pristine condition, and I definitely didn't spill tea over earlier on, to work out how much of a penalty that is. Warwick A second, Bath A third, Brooks B fourth, Sheffield A fifth. As I say that, Brooks B has a penalty for a jump start. Well, that's very interesting. What's happened here? Both Brooks carts with a jump start? Do you get jump starts from where they were on? Oh, well, you do, because they were the front row. So they were first and second, and presumably they felt that they both just went.
Or have they changed the ruling? I must admit, when it came up to the pole sitters to jump start, I thought that's a strange one.
It is unusual, because jump start can mean two things. We should be clear here. It can either mean you go before the race starts, or it means that you've jumped up positions and you've started out of position and gained an advantage by doing that.
Which we do see second place, not often, but a couple of times through the season do, where they just misjudge when pole sitter driver puts the hammer down, and they cross the start-finish line ahead.
Sorry, Andrew, good battle going on here between the number 3 of BUKC and Benjamin Topless for Sheffield A, and he's also got Southampton A's Zach Nixon for company. There's a spinner there at the Christmas just to add a little bit of complexity. There's a black flag for Oxford A for advantage by contact, currently running in 12th place. That's James King at the wheel. He's going to have to report to the pit lane. But yes, Topless has been demoted by Brooks C by the number 3 kart, which was the Brooks kart that didn't start on the front row. That's Daniel Burgess at the wheel of that kart, according to our information up here in the box. Oh, there's a driver who's spun a long way off at the boot as well. That's going to be a long recovery for them.
Just had it from the word's mouth. 2's penalty rescinded. It was the number 11 that had the jump start.
Right, okay. So that's significant because it means our leader doesn't have the penalty. And so does lead this race in reality. Confirmed now on timing, Brooks C have got past. So Brooks B have a penalty for a jump start, and to boot they've also got a track limit warning, so they've really got to be careful here. You can see the drivers now really testing the brakes into Christmas corner. You can see the back just trying to step out, but these experienced drivers at the front of the field are holding it well as there's an overtake there. That's Brunel going past Southampton into Inkermans. That's Luke Barton getting past Zach Nixon. And they've all got to be very careful here. This is a fantastic battle here. You've got Benjamin Topless in the Sheffield A car. That's number 12 in 6th. Brunel A now, I think, has been able to get past. Well, I just said they got past, but I think they've been able to hold it. There they are, the 7 ahead of the 15. So that's Brunel A ahead of Southampton A. And then Northumbria B are doing a really good job. They're a few seconds down the road from this, but...
and this is important for them trying to get into mains.
Absolutely. Who's out for Northumbria B in this one? It is Macaulay Hampton doing a good job at the moment. If there's a black flag for Brunel D.
Sorry.
It's all right, mate. For overtaking under yellows. You carry on, Andrew. You're doing the important that tells us who's got to really push in the latter part of the day. There's a black flag. We've just called that one. So...
watch out for Warwick D as well.
Yeah.
This is Warwick C. They have not had a good first 3 races. A 27th, a 26th and a 30th. A 10th in this one. It's going to leave them a lot to do in the afternoon races, but it gives them a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam Stevens at the wheel for Warwick C in this one. Started 13th on the grid, currently running 10th, which would be crucial, as you say. The black flag for the 53 still being shown on the Digi flag here. That's for Brunel. As we've got a yellow waving again in turns 1 and 2. Ooh, that's a long way around the corner that driver's gone off to driver's left on the exit of turn 2. Not sure who that is. Can I see their number as they pull it round?
It's not our friend who's done rental karts in South Africa. Oh, so wait, no, sorry, that's Cranfield there
That's
tomorrow.
Cranfield, yes.
We should say, if you've not got your experience up on the BUKC website of what you've done before, drivers,
get it
on the website.
We want to know, even if it's nothing.
Jake. 17 and a half minutes to go in this one. Oxford Brooks A leading the race, but in a quite interesting situation at halfway. They will not lead. The 52 nearly falls off the road again. But Oxford Brooks A will not lead this qualifier event at halfway. Their teammate will. Oxford Brooks B.
Your spinner on the exit of turn 2, I'm going to try and call out the spinners, was Aston C. And impressively, Aston C has also got a track limits warning, which, to be fair, I suppose they've got off. No, I'm sure they went off somewhere else and didn't spin as well.
Track limit warning for the Swansea Met kart as well, the number 13.
Yep. Not a good race for Swansea Met.
Not a good morning.
Had an incident. Not it has to be said. Although last race was pretty good. Look at this though. 3 in the 11. This is the battle over 4th place between Brooks B and C, and now I believe C has got past B. Indeed, they have.
Not a good morning for the University of Wales Trinity St David. They had grid starts of 4th, 7th, 4th and 19th. They have been converted at the moment into 8th, 16th, 9th and 25th. they've gone backwards. I still think they're going to be fine for mains, but they've definitely slipped backwards from their qualifying performances this morning.
Yeah. Just to clarify as well, those karts that make it through to the mains are further subdivided into two classes, the Premier and the Intermediate class. As we look here at the Brooks battle between C in the number 3 and B in the number 11. Slightly unusual to have that ordering of numbers, but the C team did do better than the B team last year. So that's how they line up in terms of kart numbers. The kart numbers are roughly based off of last year's championship finishing positions, but not entirely, because some teams have chosen not to take part, or additional teams have turned up and been allocated the first available number, things like that, which mean it's not a hard and fast rule.
Gotta say, a team that really are pushing above their weight in terms of last year's championship position is Aston A.
Yeah.
They are currently looking at 4 results, all in the top 15.
Well,
remember when I said earlier this morning,
you want a Birmingham derby.
I want a Birmingham derby, but I also, I said that I think to be guaranteed a mains place, you need to be averaging 17th place across your 6 counting scores. So 4 within the top 15 has put them in a very, or if they can close this one out, has put them in a very strong position. 3 being a little bit aggressive there on the 68. Needs to be careful. Oxford Brooks B kart directly behind it. In fact, there's been a change of position there, hasn't there? 4th and 5th.
Yeah, C got past B a couple of laps ago. That's Daniel Burgess, sorry, getting past Matthew Taylor.
14 minutes gone, 14 minutes to go, sorry, in this one. Here's the number 3 battling, was that with the number 11? Is that number 11 right up
well,
behind
no, this
them
is the thing.
They've been 25.
Okay, so that's Bath A. So that's changed. That is the change. There we go.
So Oxford Brooks C now up to 3rd place. Another penalty for University of Wales Trinity St David Swansea. I'm afraid to say they're having a very, very scrappy day. A very scrappy day.
Oxford C have just been recovered from a spin in the boot.
Fastest lap, 52.892 from Brooks C. Daniel Burgess really flying at the moment. He nearly loses it there, but he's right on the edge. He's pushing away now. How far up the road are Warwick? 2.8 seconds. 2.8 seconds up the road, and they had 1.9 seconds over Warwick A on that last lap alone.
The opportunity is
on
here.
Interesting.
Yeah, the opportunity is on here for a Brooks 1-2-3 if they can just engineer it right. Brooks A, Carl Morby out in front. Hardly mentioned him since the race start because he's just had a control. Well, we mentioned him when he had a suspected jump start, but that's now been retracted, that penalty. That was for the number 11, not the number 2. That was erroneously displayed.
51.367. Burgess is absolutely flying.
Oh, of course that is so. Oh, dearie me, a bit of contact there between the 16 and the 44, and it's stopped him. He's going to lose it. That's a change for second. Warwick A and William Wren. Bit of drama there. He was clearly just trying to lap the kart, and maybe the kart, that was the Imperial A kart, the 44, just perhaps started slowing for Christmas when Wren didn't expect. And that led to a bit of contact. Fortunately, he did not go off. But,
I mean, credit to Wren for saying sorry there.
Yeah, no, he clearly...
Burgess... No, not having any of this. That's a chance
going
for
up
me
the
to
inside.
get second.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, goodness me. Look at this. 64, 62, 56. Side by side.
64 spins, and that's, completely your own fault. Just got into the back of the 62.
Imperial B, and then the 62 was Bristol B, and the 56 is Warwick D.
So, Chengru Hu spinning there.
Sorry not to catch your finest out there, Mr. Hu.
There's the 53.
And that is Brunel D. So, as we say, shout out to all of the drivers. You know, I saw Oxford C's Henry Bradley trying to recover his kart from deep off the track in the boot. And fair play to all these drivers who are out for the first time, who maybe have had a few spins. I know it's frustrating. I know it's difficult, and you feel like the whole world is watching at some point. But stick with it. Hopefully you're enjoying the power of these karts. They're the fastest drive and drive karts in Europe. and stick with it. These are challenging conditions. Believe me, absolutely everybody who you see going very fast has at some point completely binned it. There's nobody I've ever met who's never binned one of these karts.
If you're not spinning, you're not pushing hard enough.
Quite. So stick with it, and hopefully you will stick with it and get better. Just a few dry patches beginning to show on the way up the hill, Andrew.
Yep.
Dare we dream? Oh, someone doing some lawn mowing. Very important to keep the grass in good condition here at Whilton Mill.
That's the lesser-known Whilton Mill Joker lap that's just been taken there by that driver.
Oh, what's happened up at oh, sorry, I thought that was multiple carts. It's actually a pusher cart starting. A cart
that
up
poor driver
Incomers.
up there has been up there for a very, very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, I think one of our less experienced drivers, stick with it, and hopefully be all okay. What I'm confused. Oh, we've got a driver off to driver's left in the final corner as well. Unusual place to have come to a stop.
It's the 65 that had the problem up at Incomers.
Oh, it's and it's the 64 that has the problem.
Hang on, was that an OTY? That looked very OTY-ish to me. Oh, and to compound matters even, further, the 68's just got a black flag.
Well, the 65,
there's the 68.
The 65, the 64 and the 62 all currently in the process of being recovered from a spin. That's the Imperial C, Imperial B and Bristol B carts respectively.
Yeah, so the Imperial C cart was the one that was stuck at Incomers for quite a while, so unfortunately they are several laps now off the lead.
Black flag for Warwick E as well.
And that black flag was for advantage by contact.
Okay. 10 minutes to go in this one, just under, and Kyle Morby has, we presume he's still out there. His transponder's still sending a signal, but we really haven't. In fact, he's really going out there. Just set the fastest lap of a race of 50.713. Andrew, we could see them dip below the 50-second mark before we head to our lunch break, but we really have to say, now, there's the 47 driver. Shout out to the 47 driver, because I'm 90% certain it was the University of the West of England driver, who did a lot of rally crossing to driver's right on the back straight in turn 1, managed to keep it going. That's Kieran Woodhouse. So fair play to you, sir, you kept it going. You may have made the engine have to work quite hard, so maybe don't mention that one to JV, but good to have kept it going.
Aston A are on the move. A personal best Sector 1 and a Sector 3 is just with a move as well, put them into 10th place for the 69 cart.
Oh, 2 drivers off in turn 2, and that to me looks like it was quite a dramatic one, Andrew, because there's tyres on the track. So a driver has hit some of the tyre barriers and brought it back onto the track. Can't see it on screen at the moment. What's going on here? This is the number 7, Brunel A, working their way, and they're quite close to the back, aren't they, of Southampton? Yeah, there's Zach Nixon, and then the Brunel A, number 7, and there's Benjamin Topless with the green and black suit and the blue helmet, trying to put a lap, I believe, on the black helmeted and suited driver there.
62, visor warning, sorry.
Oh, goodness me, Andrew, there's loads of them that it's growing. There's 3 carts off at turn 2 now. Still a really challenging corner for these drivers. Downhill turning, combined with damp track understeer, combined with the fact that it's the last part of the circuit to dry out because it's at the bottom of the hill, making for a very, very challenging sequence of corners for the less experienced out there.
But yes, Agarwal given a warning there for probably not having his visor down properly. Here's Zach Nixon then.
Brunel A, yes, I'm sorry Andrew, I was just clarifying, Brunel A have got past, haven't they? So Brunel A now up to 6th, ahead of Southampton A, with Benjamin Topless of Sheffield chasing. As they go through this yellow flag zone, you'll see some of the stationary carts here as Zach Nixon works his way through.
Change as well in terms of the gap between A and C Brooks carts in the lead. 2.2 seconds now. Oxford Brooks C took 3.3 seconds out of the leader on that last lap last time around. Now some of that may have been due to yellow flags. Here is Kyle Morby in the number 2 and is now, well, he's had the penalty rescinded after it was mistakenly applied to him instead of the B cart, but Kyle Morby is now going to be challenged by his teammate. Having said that though, the reverse has just happened. C have just lost 3 seconds of their own on that last lap, and the gap's back up to 5 seconds. My goodness me, that's a scary moment for Kyle Morby, because I don't think that driver being push started had any idea that the leader was there.
Here's an unusual one, visor warning.
Yes,
the number 62 Bristol B. Oh, sorry, Andrew. Yeah, that's an unusual one. Get it right. The basics. make sure your visor's down. I just want to reassure, by the way, if there are any supporters who are watching, maybe the first time, maybe you're following someone who's having their first day of racing in the BUKC. We keep talking about karts going off and having spins. I just want to put your mind at rest. It's always, we've got very slow yellows, double waved yellows for turn 2. Or
finally, all those karts down at turn 1 and 2 are cleared.
They have, but they're having to repair the tyre barriers. I just want to clarify, no drivers thus far that we've seen have sustained any form of injury from any of these offs. As look at the leader working through these karts. Oh, the 38 there reacted, thought that Kyle was overtaking him for position, and I think it made he got all crossed up going into there and has spun round. So the 38 is Swansea B, Scott Deacon, and Andrew, that's not good for Swansea B. They had the good result last race, so they're slightly more secure than they were, but they're one of those teams who's just got to be careful as Morby works his way through the traffic. Experienced racer for Brooks as he is. But yeah, just want to, there's a black flag for Aston C for spinning under yellows. But yeah, I just want to reassure people watching, when drivers are spinning, even if they're going into tyre barriers, the tyre barriers are very good at doing their job. And all of the drivers we've seen so far going off have dusted themselves off, got the kart back on track and got back out there, and fair play to them for doing that. So when we're saying a kart's gone off or has spun, you know, if there was something serious, we would see a red flag. Not seen so far, so no need to worry when we're saying these terms. Just wanted to give you that peace of mind. Brooks A lead by 5 seconds ahead of Brooks C. Bath are in 3rd place in their Bath A kart, and Warwick A are 4th. Brooks B run 5th, but have a penalty. Did we deduce? As another penalty comes in for them. Gosh, commentators curse. Brooks B have a penalty for bump and pass. So that's a further 10 seconds on top of the... Did we discern how much they got for a jump start, Andrew?
I think it's 10 seconds, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. So... either way, I think it has to be a minimum of 10 seconds. So I reckon it's going to be... Ooh, look at this. Is the 41
Warwick C.
That's not for position, is it? That's Warwick C putting a lap on Oxford A. Oxford A are working their way back up to the field because they were involved in a first lap incident.
And I have to say, I'm a little bit worried about Oxford A.
Yeah.
Because they've not had a good morning. They've had a 16th and 8th and a 22nd. At the moment, they're going to get an 18th. Now, this time last year, we saw a bit of a scalp. And it was Cardiff. Yeah. Cardiff, who was the seed number 10 going in and failed to make mains 1 year later. It can happen. And I think today, Oxford are going to need to have a good afternoon. Otherwise, race 9, race 10, they're going to be getting very, very nervous about their ability to get into that top 27.
Let's talk about this battle for 6th, because this has been raging all race long. And in fact, as I say that, Nixon has a look at the inside of Luke Barton in the Brunel A kart. So the number 7 of Brunel A has Luke Barton at the wheel, and then it's Zach Nixon at the wheel of the number 15 Southampton A kart. And then there's Benjamin Topless in the number 12 Sheffield A kart. They've had a race-long battle through the traffic, and so far as I've been able to tell, Andrew, it's been a very impressive... Oh, look at this! He has a run up the hill, does Nixon, on Barton.
Flag.
Oh, it's a yellow, so what's going to... Yeah, he does the sensible thing, the best thing. If you're side by side with someone, both be very bashful and go, no, after you, sir. Well, that's what I say. Maybe that's why I'm not a winner. Thinks better of it either way. They're now through that yellow flag zone, but look at the traffic that's ahead of them as there's a black flag.
Second place.
See, what's it for? It's for advantage by contact. Again, you have to get through the traffic cleanly. And the number 7 feeling the pressure from those behind. Barton jinks to the inside and gets past the traffic. That'll give him some breathing space. Look at Topless though. He's got good drive off that second part of the corner, but can't do anything with it to get past Zach Nixon of Southampton A. But significant development there. Second place kart, Brooks C. So, Brooks A are still on course to win this one, and significantly, by the way, Morby has now dipped below the 50-second mark. The first person to do so. Fastest lap of a 49.848. So that's significant. But Brooks C has a black flag, and Brooks B have several penalties.
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch who the driver going around at Christmas was there, but it was one of the back markers. This is also crucial for Brooks C's just general qualifier day. They were on for an 18th, 2nd, 3rd and 2nd this morning. Well, they're not going to get that second of the seconds, I reckon they're going to have used really their 2 dropped scores in a way by having 2 bad results this morning.
Swansea B have had a spin at an unusual place. I don't quite know how you managed to do that, but on driver's left just before the apex of turn 1.
Yep, they've just been recovered.
I wonder if did they have a black flag and maybe were exiting the pits? I'm not quite sure.
Possibly.
That's an unusual place to spin, but driver now underway again. We're looking at Benjamin Topless heading up the hill, and he's passed. Have we covered this? He's passed Zach Nixon. So that's a change of position. Sheffield A past Southampton A. That's been raging all race long, and now Topless will try and get onto terms with Luke Barton of the Brunel cart, and indeed he's right on his bumper as they head into Zulu. Barton will get held up by a bit of traffic through here. Will this give Topless an opportunity as he comes onto the back straight? Got to be careful of the number 15 of Southampton A with Zach Nixon at the wheel. He'll be looking to get past, but again, as a couple of laps ago, Luke Barton in the Brunel A car manages to get past the traffic and buys himself a bit of space into the boot.
BUKC have just been shown the black flag again because they've not pitted yet.
I wonder if they're thinking they can argue this, but nothing ever good comes of that. I'm afraid the very last rule does remind everybody the clerk of the course's decisions are final. Here comes Carl Morby. He's going to start the last lap.
Oh, now BUKC need to really be careful here, because if they don't pit this time, they'll get deducted a lap.
Yeah. And are they in the pit? Are they in the pits?
No.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
They're arguing this one, Andrew. Well, I'm just saying,
they're not going to win.
I've never seen anybody successfully argue that they didn't need to come in for a black flag. Never heard it. So this is going to be an interesting one for Brooks. Controversy for them already, but one man for whom there isn't controversy from Brooks is Carl Morby. Here he is, rounding the boot. It's been a flawless drive from him. We thought he had a jump start, but it was an erroneously awarded penalty to him, so that's been taken back away. And Carl Morby is going to take the flag to win race 5 of the BUKC.
And sets a 48.785 on the last lap. Wow.
C are going to come across the line.
They're in now.
They're pit now.
They're doing a Schumacher Silverstone 1998 here. They're pitting on the last lap to serve their penalty. Now, I suppose they've not crossed the line. They've not finished.
So, yeah. But this means surely that Bath A, indeed, there they are. Bath A come through to take second place. Good result for them. With James Bumey at the wheel. Andrew, that's not a name I'm particularly familiar with, so I wonder if that's his first drive. If it is, my goodness me, sir, take a bow. Brooks B cross the line third, but have a penalty for a jump start. So they're third on the road, but look to see how far down they go. In fact, they have a second penalty as well for bump and pass. Warwick A are fourth, Brunel A are fifth, Sheffield A sixth, Southampton A seventh. Shout out to the drivers in the Brunel, Sheffield and Southampton cars. Fantastic
really
race-long battling. Great races for all of you. Brooks C emerged from the pit lane for their black flag and finished 8th on the road. Bristol A 9th and Warwick C round out the top 10. But there's several penalties to be applied in that one. But fair play to Brooks. They did come in to serve that black flag.
Right, let's have a quick look at the scores on the doors. I reckon at the halfway point then, your leader of the event is going to be Oxford Brooks B. So we'll get all the maths together, but I'm pretty confident I can say that one because they've had a stellar morning, a second, well, 2/3, a second and a win. Very interesting. So that's the end of race 5. I think we're going to go for a lunch break quite shortly. But I do hope you've enjoyed this morning.
I hope we go for a lunch break. I think we're ready for it up here in the box. But
I hope you've enjoyed the commentary this morning. We're going to pass down to Jacob on the grid, but that is the end of race 5. And just for our remaining listeners on Mixlr as well, that is the end of the second part of the broadcast this morning. I do hope you've enjoyed this morning's racing. It's been interesting. Interesting, I think is the word to use. We will be back shortly. I think the lunch break is about half an hour. Of course, keep an eye on your notifications and on the timing screen for when we're back for race 6. Catch you all in a bit.
We're going into a short break now. Okay, drivers, whilst we're in this short break, races 6 to 10, the next 5 races, you are entitled to change your driver schedule around. If you are intending to do that, can the team captains please notify Willie Chu, who is in reception now. So if you're sticking with whoever did race 1 is doing race 6, then that's fine, and so on. But if you are opting to shuffle the pack for the last 5 20-minute races, please pop into race control and let Willie Chu know now, please. Thank you.
So I think we're still having a few technical difficulties on the grid, just closing out this this part of the day's coverage. So just to clarify, we're now going on to a approximately 30-minute lunch break, and then we'll be back with the afternoon's races, or the rest of the afternoon's races, races 6 through 10. So thank you very much if you have been for supporting the coverage, whether it's been on our stream, on the Facebook page, or via Mixlr for the audio-only coverage. We're going to take a bit of a break, but keep your eyes peeled on the Facebook page for when we'll be coming back. So this has been, I think we're going to end this stream and go on to a different one. So just to clarify, this has been an Alpha Live production with commentary provided by Double Dash Motorsport Media on behalf of 3T Racing, Club 100 and the BUKC. We will be back after a lunch break. Stay tuned.